Hi guys, welcome back to Crypto Chester. My name is Chester and today I'll be walking you through the crypto markets. First things first, I'll be talking about the short term of Bitcoin, then the mid term of Bitcoin, and then the long term of Bitcoin. And then once I've done that, I'll be jumping onto some altcoins that you guys request in the chat and I'll do some live TA for you there as well. Without further ado, let's just get straight into the short term for Bitcoin because obviously we have seen this insane dump towards the downside, right? As I said yesterday, this is a potential possibility if we are to lose this rising wedge that we've got coming through here, right? As discussed, around this 40,000 mark, we did actually see that resistance, right? I was live when we were just crossing this 200 moving average here, and we're finding a nice level of support on this 39,600 mark. We did find that support, but we did see resistance off this 40,500 mark, and then we did see that dump to the floor, right? I did actually enter a position here. As I said, we did have a potential short measure move to look out for if we were to break this rising wedge to the downside, right? We did actually, I did actually enter a position here, and it was when we came down, right? We came down out of this rising wedge that we've got coming through here, and then we came up and we tested the bottom side of this rising wedge. And this is when I entered my short, right? I entered my short here as we started to lose all these major moving averages because I saw that resistance to the downside coming through there, right? I saw that resistance to the downside coming through there, and then I did have my stop loss up around this 21, just inside that rising wedge there, just in case we did actually retrace, and this was a bit of a trap here. But no, it was great. It was a nice trade. It wasn't the biggest trade in the world, right? It wasn't the biggest trade in the world, but that's because we did have this downward sloping trend line coming through here, which we definitely needed to take into account because it literally swung straight through our position here, right? So that is basically where I took a nice chunk of my profit. I think I took around 50 or 60% of my profit there. And that was at around 4%, right? That was around 4%. And I said, right, if we're going to lose this, that's going to be the ideal place to come down and test this high-low that we have here, this high-low level of support that we have here, right? As you can see, we did get down to this point here. I wasn't going to wait for that measure move to be completed here because obviously this is an insane crucial point for Bitcoin if we do lose this higher low that we've got coming through here, as we just did invalidate this last one. So I did wait to come down for here, and then I just closed my position around this point here, right? And in terms of percentage for that trade that we had coming through there, it was around 5, near enough 6% trade. So not too bad at all. I mean, that was through the night for myself. Pretty tired, right? But yeah, thumbs up all of you two people. Hi Ivo, nice to see you, man. Good to see you back on the stream again. I hope you're having a good day on Friday morning, right? Good day on Friday morning. But yes, back to Bitcoin for now. That was the trade that I was taking. If I'm looking for Bitcoin to come any lower, crucial point to break right now would be this high low that we set on this uptrend here. And if we are to lose this point, we would be looking at a next target of around that 35,200 mark. Definitely something to consider when trading Bitcoin today. Ideally, what we do want is to find a nice level of support at this point here and then bounce up from here. And basically test this level of resistance in terms of this downward sloping resistance line we got coming through here. If we can test that level of resistance and we can find a nice level of support on that, then we can talk about, right? Then we can talk about testing these major moving averages that we've got coming down on the short-term time frame for Bitcoin. So it's definitely something to watch in terms of the short-term time frame for Bitcoin, because obviously these major moving averages, they're called up, they're swooping over to the downside for us here. So if we are going to see a potential bounce to the upside in terms of price action here and finding a nice little support on this trend line coming through, then we are going to see a bit of resistance to the downside here. So it could be something along the lines of this. We come up, we find a nice level of support on this trend line here, and then we come up, we test the 10 moving average, we get rejected, come up again, break through find support on the 10 moving average, and then come up and test the 21. So it could just be a bit of scurrying around today with these major moving averages coming down like so. And then if we do, on the basis we do see some insane buying power to the upside, we do actually have this 200 moving average coming down as well. So that's definitely something to consider on the short term for Bitcoin there. In terms of what's happening on the RSI right now, this is interesting, right? We're nearly oversold, right? And we know what happens when we're oversold on the RSI, right? We see that buying power to the upside, right? We see that buying power to the upside. So that's basically an indication that we could be reversing the trend here, and we have just set a lower high in terms of the current hourly candle here. So if you can hold that in the next 5 minutes, we are going to be looking at a potential reversal in this trend here, and that basically correlates pretty much perfectly with the RSI on the hourly here. So it's definitely something to consider at this point in time. On the old on the old downtrend cycle on the MACD here, on the macadamia nut here we got going through, we do have this level of support, right? We do have this level of support. We are currently testing it, right? We're currently testing it, and it is basically an indication that we could have that bullish crossover pretty soon, and this downtrend that we've got coming through here could be fizzling out, right? If that is to happen, we are going to find a nice level of support on here, and we are going to see that progression to the upside. I don't think when we have that bullish crossover, the trend is going to be huge, because obviously we do have this resistance line coming through in terms of a trend line for the MACD here. In terms of the short term, we do have this resistance line coming through. So when we do have the next uptrend formed, it isn't going to be huge, right? It isn't going to be huge if we are going to find resistance off this point here. And that's basically another indication that we are going to potentially come up and test one of these trend lines here, and then see that swift rejection from there, and then a potential bounce on this trend line coming down here, right? Definitely something to consider. Referencing the RSI and the MACD on the short term for Bitcoin, right? Let's jump straight to the midterm for Bitcoin, right? Straight to the midterm for Bitcoin. As discussed previously, we do have this falling wedge here, and we did break that falling wedge, and that was a nice 8% trade. Now, 8% trade there was an 8% trade, right? That was an 8% trade there that we got into, and we got out very, very nice indeed. Just gonna have some water. Very nice indeed. I am rock solid. Thanks, man. Stella popping out. Stella popping tonight. Stella popping tonight. Stella à toi. Reason you made it 2 weeks of live streaming, 40 hours slow for spitting. Yeah, pretty much, bro. Thanks, bro. It means a lot. Yeah, I did do. It is just done 2 weeks. Basically 2 weeks today, right? Crazy stuff. But yeah, back to the midterm for Bitcoin here. As you can see, we did have this falling wedge coming through here, and we do have this rising price channel to consider, right? This rising price channel to consider, and we did lose it, right? We did lose it. I did say there was a potential short position there, but unfortunately, I don't get in a short position unless we come back and we test like we did on the short term, right? Like we did in the short term, and that's basically why I entered my position. For me, on the 4 hour right now, this is too volatile for a 4 hour candle. I would like to see some sort of candle coming up around here, and then coming up, seeing a nice test of this bottom side of this rising price channel here, and then a potential short position down from there, right? Wife beater, yes. Goodness me, probably shouldn't say that on stream, right? But yeah, I would be looking at a retest of this bottom side of this price action channel. Not price action channel, of this rising price channel, if I was to be entering a short here. But at this point in time, you can see on the midterm, we are bouncing on this crucial higher low point of resistance here, of support at around that 36,400 mark. As I said, on the short term there, if we are to lose that, the next target would be around that 3,500 mark. Yeah, that 35,200 mark, around that point there. So that would be the next target if we are to lose that. On the midterm there, absolute low. If we do lose the 35,200 mark on the short term there, I would be seeing us coming down, potentially bouncing off this volume weighted ATR band that we got coming through here, and seeing a potential position coming up from there, right? And if that is to correlate perfectly with this downward sloping trend line that we got coming through here, that would be ideal, because it would be a few factors coming together that we are going to see a nice long position coming through from there. So if we are to see some sort of panic sell, and we see all these levels of support coming together as one to basically hold us up, then it would be a potential long position, probably up to around this point here. But that's obviously on the predication that we lose this 36,400 mark, right? So definitely a place to watch on the old midterm for Bitcoin, right? At this point in time, for the midterm, in terms of an upwards target, I would be looking to come up and basically reclaim this rising price channel that we've got coming through here. And in order to do that, we would need to smash through the 21 moving average, smash through this 10 moving average that we're coming on here, and even debate testing this 55. But as you can see here, we have got these lower highs being set continuously. And if we are to see some sort of price reversal here, we're going to see a test of the 55. If we can find a level of support on the 21 and the 10 here, so that basically means we are going to be setting another lower high, which is an indication that the trend is going to continue down, basically. So if we are to see some buying power, some bounce point from this 36,400 here, we're not out of the woods unless we can invalidate this lower high and get that buying momentum to the upside, right? So it's definitely something to consider in terms of the curl over of what's happening right now. We could be seeing something along the lines of this, and I would not be surprised if we did lose this 36,500 level. Good morning, Tom. Good morning, all. Hope you're having a good day on Friday morning. Talking about the beer, I'm a peaceful, like a Russian at a Berlin Square. 7:45. Cool man. But yeah, in terms of a bounce position, it would be this 36,000 36,800, no, 36,400, around that 500 mark. But as you can see here, we do have the RSI downward sloping resistance line coming through here. So that's definitely something to consider in terms of a level of resistance if we are going to see a pump in the price, which in a sense does correlate perfectly with setting another lower high in terms of this downtrend which we are forming here. In terms of lower high looking like so. Potentially we are going to come up. We are going to test the 21. We are going to test the lower side of this rising price channel that we got coming through here, and then we are going to be testing the lower side of this downward sloping resistance line, right? So there's definitely an indication we are going to see some resistance there, and we are going to basically have some reversal in the price, probably consolidating around this area for the next 8 to 12 hours, unless we lose it within the next 4 hours, right? If we lose it in the next 4 hours, I think there's going to be a lot less confidence in the market, and then the next target point is going to be around that 35,200 mark to get to, right? That 35,200 mark is around there, right? That's going to be the next target price to get to. If we do fall below this 36,800, definitely something to consider, right? Definitely something to consider. And as I said, the lowest point we will be looking for is this volume weighted ATR band, correlating with this horizontal level of support at 33,000 there. In my opinion, with the dump that we've seen last night here, I don't see, I'm not ruling out that we aren't going to get there, because I do think we've got high potential of getting there, right? We've got high potential of getting there, and unfortunately, as discussed yesterday, we didn't see the test of these lower highs, right? I was stressing so much about these lower highs because I was really hoping we would find that upwards momentum to get there, but we didn't find the upwards momentum to get there, which kind of sucks, because Bitcoin did need that. We did need that for that confirmation that we aren't going to see some sort of trend reversal like we have here. We did set that lower high, and now we've just kind of dumped off a cliff, deep sea diving down those ocean trenches, right? So which is not good for Bitcoin, and is not good for any altcoins, right? My altcoins to watch of the day was Rune. I've got Rune here. I did a video on Rune yesterday. If we were to break that lower high on Rune there, we would have seen, where are we? We would have seen a potential move all the way up to $20, right? Potential long position there. But as you can see, we did find that insane resistance off that 200 there. That's one of the altcoins to watch today, because at the moment it is minus 12%. We could be looking at a bounce up to the upside, and we are testing this this high low point here. So we could be looking at a bounce from there. Now, what was the other one? XMR. We're looking at XMR right now. That was a potential short position to get into on the 4 hour there. No, we didn't see that. We didn't see that retest of the trend line here. So it wasn't a great position. But if you were to jump in there, you would have seen a measure move coming down something like so. And in terms of percent, we would have seen something juicy around 8% there. Let me just jump straight back to Bitcoin there and finish my little TA on that, because that was the midterm. Let me jump to the RSI on the midterm. As I said, we are going to see that resistance off that downward sloping resistance line there. We are going to see some resistance if we are going to come up and test the lower side of this rising price channel that we got coming through here. In terms of the daily right now for Bitcoin, our target, as I said yesterday, were these lower highs to get over. Crucial point. But we didn't get there, right? We've seen the resistance, we've seen the reversal in the trend. Lower highs being set in these daily candles now. Which isn't good, right? And we're getting these lower lows in terms of this trend, right? Not good at all. In terms of target price right now, we need to stay above this level and not invalidate this higher low here. If we invalidate this higher low from 4 days ago, right, we are going to see some potential move to the downside, potentially testing this zone here at around that 34.6 zone. Definitely something to consider on the daily here. It's not looking good, in my opinion. It's not looking good. We would have liked to see us break these lower highs that we are forming here. We would have liked to see these us break these lower highs here, but unfortunately we didn't. We've seen that resistance. It's looking like we're going to see that trend reversal to the downside. I wouldn't be surprised if we are to touch 34, 33 in the next few days or so, potentially over the weekend. We do have a bank holiday coming up, so take that into account, because we know what happens on a bank holiday. We see some insane volatile markets, right? So there's definitely something to consider. With Bitcoin, right, just going to have some water. Sorry if my mic's picking me up, slurping that. Yeah, guys, just thank you all for being here this morning. Very nice to see some OGs tuning back into the stream there. If you're liking the stream, guys, smash that thumbs up, turn that thumbs up blue. Helps me out tremendously in terms of the YouTube algos and stuff like that. And yeah, if you want to see me stream every single morning, I stream every single morning, 1 to 2 hours, Monday to Friday. Also do altcoin videos. I also do potential trade positions for you guys to research yourself. Hit that notification bell, hit that subscribe button, and you're never going to miss one of my uploads. It's as simple as that, right? It's absolutely as simple as that, right? Let's jump to XMR right now. As discussed yesterday, we did have this rising price, not this rising price, we had this rising wedge coming through here. I think it was on the 4 hour. Yeah, we had this rising wedge coming through on the 4 hour here, potential trade position to the downside. But as I said, we didn't see that test right now. We didn't see that test, the retest of that trend line to get into a position there. So right now we have just lost the 21. We just lost the 21. We dumped to the downside. We do have a monthly pivot point here, which we're looking at finding support on here, which would be ideal for a bounce to the upside here and coming up to test this 21. But at this point in time, it's hard to say, really. It's hard to say because at the moment we're pretty central on the RSI, so that's no real indication of what's happening in the price there. We have just had that bearish crossover on the MACD there, so that's definitely something to consider because we could be setting a new sort of trend cycle to the downside here because obviously this one is pretty flaccid, not very good at all. So it's definitely something to consider in watching the price there, because if we are going to dump to the downside, we are going to see this trend continue and it's not going to be flaccid. Horizontal point for that in terms of support there, we would be looking at around 13, around 13, right? Around 13, and that would potentially correlate with this level of support around 210. So that's not out of the water for Monero right now. As I said, we are setting these lower highs, right? We're setting these lower highs continuously in terms of these 4 hour candles. So in my opinion, it's not looking very good at all, right? Not looking very good at all for Monero. In terms of not finding a nice level of support on this monthly pivot point here. And the next point to come down and test would be come down and see if we can find support, and it would be this 226 zone, right? Very interesting stuff indeed if we can get there. Hopefully we can get a bounce. If we do, that'd be very, very nice indeed. If we can get there and test and then become oversold here, we are looking at a bounce to the upside in terms of buying power on the RSI. That would be very, very nice indeed. But potentially we are going to correlate with this monthly pivot point here, maybe to seeing some sideways action like so, right? Definitely something to consider when trading the old Monero here, right? Let me jump to any requests, guys. Dump them in the chat and I'll do a little TA on them for you as well. Let me just have some more water here. I'm going to jump to Ethereum now, guys. I'm going to jump to Ethereum. As you can see, we did see this. It's pretty insane. It's pretty insane dump to the downside, as a lot of the charts are doing, as they are following Bitcoin. And Bitcoin has just tapped that 37,000 mark. Yes, as you can see here, we did dump to the downside and we did lose this pretty pinnacle level of support for Ethereum here. A lot of people thought we were going to bounce from here, and then we were going to test these lower high points from that previous downtrend that we had there, but we didn't, right? We didn't. We did see that bounce to the upside. We didn't see that bounce to the upside. We didn't see that test of the 200. We didn't see this lower high get invalidated here. We actually created a new lower high, which wasn't good indeed, and we've seen that progression to the downside. So at this point in time, I hate to say it, a little bit bearish on Ethereum right now. If we lose this level of support here at 2,500 here, I would be looking at the next level at 2,386 there. Definitely something to consider when trading the old Ethereum. In terms of the daily right now, we have set a lower high on the daily here. We are losing that 55 moving average coming through here. We seriously lost that 55 moving average, and we found a nice level of resistance off it there. Well, not a nice level of resistance. Good morning there, Ken. Good morning, mate. A wee ADA update, if you please. Huge roadmap news yesterday. Oh, interesting. I actually probably missed that, I think. Yeah, I definitely missed that. I definitely should be getting on that, right? Should have got on that, right? Next, just finishing off in Ethereum right now, because we are having that continuation to the downside. We are seeing that lower high being formed on the daily there. Obviously, we have seen that resistance from this 55 moving average coming down. Next target point, I'd say, for the daily would be this horizontal support point sat at around 2,386. And for me, personally, that's pretty goddamn cheap for Ethereum. So we would be looking at a potential bounce from there. If not, worst case scenario, and we do lose this horizontal level of support here, dog's going mental. If we do lose this horizontal level of support here, I would see us coming down to this 1,956 mark, potentially correlating with this 200 moving average coming up here on the daily chart for Ethereum right there. So there's definitely something to think about. Let's jump to the hourly right now. Let's jump to the hourly chart for Ethereum. In terms of what's happening on the hourly, we can actually get some indication of some sort of major trend line coming down here, right? We can get rid of this one for now and see if we can get some sort of chart pattern coming through here. Nothing's really jumping out at me unless we are seeing a nice curl over in the trend here, which is going to set a potential point for a trend line coming through like this, and that could potentially mean we are looking at some sort of symmetrical triangle potentially playing out here, which would be nice to see. If we are going to see something like that, we would see the price basically be coming up from here and setting another lower high, right? Setting another lower high, as we have been doing for the last few trends coming up here. Setting another lower high, but in order to do that, we would need to smash through all of these major moving averages on the hourly time frame, and I predict it's probably the same for we do have the 55, same for the 4 hourly as well. We do have the 21, we do have the 21 moving average, the 55, and the price action channel to get through as well. If we are going to be looking at coming up and testing the top side of the symmetrical triangle. And even if we get to that side, then we are going to be potentially looking at a dump from there, right? I wouldn't see us breaking that anytime soon, as we are seeing that pretty heavy confirmation that we are going to be setting these lower highs for a while, right? We are going to be setting these lower highs for lower highs for a while, and we are seeing that heavy resistance from that point there. As you can see, every lower high we set, we do see that heavy resistance, so we do need to think about that if we are going to come to the upside, right? And it could be a potential trap for the uneducated traders here if we are going to see some insane surge to the upside here, smashing through these major moving averages we've got coming here on the midterm for Ethereum. We could be seeing a lot of buying power and a lot of FOMO in the market here. If we do see some insane candles to the upside here, we could be seeing a lot of FOMO in the market, and that could basically trap people out if we do see some insane resistance off this downward sloping resistance line of this symmetrical triangle here, right? Definitely something to consider when trading the old Ethereum today. It's all speculation. As I said, it's just a possibility this could be happening if we are to find a nice level of support here. And as I said, we are, in a sense, curling over in terms of this trend. We are setting these high lows continuously to the upside here, which is very nice to see. And we are currently trying to find support on this major trend line coming up here, right? Major trend line coming up here. So if we do find support on that, is an indication that we will be coming up to at least testing these major moving averages coming down here on the hourly time frame, right? Let me jump to ADA for Kane there. ADA for Kane here. Let me jump to the daily, right? I'll definitely do some research on ADA. I did actually miss that update yesterday. I'm a bit annoyed about that because obviously I'm an ADA supporter, ADA gang and all that. But yeah, so the daily for ADA right now, we have actually seen a curl over in the trend, right? We've seen a curl over in the trend and seeing these lower highs being set. Unfortunately, we are seeing a heavy point of resistance here off this volume weighted ATR band, which is this it's quite hard to see, right? This quite thin red line coming through here, and we do find level of support on it. And I hate to say, resistance off it as well, and that's basically what we're seeing happening here in terms of price action on the daily here. We did come up, we did test it, we found that resistance, we didn't claim it, and we did see that downwards selling momentum, right? That downward selling momentum in terms of a percent for that whole candle at this point in time is around 9%. Live price, we're looking at around minus 6.71% around that point there, and we are currently testing this price action channel, right? If we can find support on this price action channel, it would be very nice to see a candle close above it, because that could mean we could see the potential, nowhere near that high, right? Nowhere near that high. We could see the potential of testing this 21 moving average and potentially having another stab at this volume weighted ATR band again. And as I said, if we can find a nice level of support on that in the future, we are looking at progression to the upside, right? We're looking at progression to the upside. If we find a nice level of support on it, you can see we literally ride up. Basically we ride it all the way up, and that's a potential for a great trade there. But yeah, as you can see here, it is a scare point. We do test it quite a bit. We test it quite a bit, find that resistance, and then we find that support, right? So we do need to scare around it, which in terms of live price action, I think that's what we've been doing for quite a while now. We're on that scare over the last 7-8 days or so, somewhere around that point there. We are on that scare, so ideally we want to find a nice level of support, and then if we do find a nice level of support, and that is around that 1.67 mark, definitely a point to watch on the daily there. I would be looking at a target of this lower high coming down here at this $1.79 mark for ADA on the daily. If we can find a nice level of support on that, I would be looking at potentially testing the previous all-time high close resistance point at $2.30. That sounds very, very juicy indeed for ADA. On the basis, right, we do see some insane resistance to the downside right now. As we are setting these lower highs, we do need to take this into account. We could potentially be coming down and having a proper test of this 55 moving average, right? We could bounce from this 55 moving average, and in my opinion, that would be ideal. As you can see, we do find a nice level of support there and a nice level of upwards momentum from that 55 on the last time we came down and tested it, right? So it's definitely something to consider. If we do get there, we could be looking at a bounce to the upside there. If we do lose it on the basis we do lose it, as you can see here, previous candle 5 days ago, we did actually see a lot of downwards momentum, right? We did see a lot of downwards momentum, and that could basically mean we are going to lose to 55 and then the next. So it's basically a point to watch at this $1.49 on the daily here. If this daily candle closes below that, I would expect to come down at around and hit this $1.37 mark, and then potentially we're looking at a bounce from there. If we don't bounce from there and we see that downward selling power, the next point would be this $1.31 mark. So definitely a few crucial points to watch for ADA on the daily there. A little bit of a summary: we are in this downtrend, right? We are seeing this upwards momentum fizzle out to the downside here. and seeing that correction. But at the end of the day, we are still setting these high lows. Yes, we just did invalidate the last day there, but it's still a high low at the end of the day in terms of this trend, right? So it's definitely something to consider in terms of ADA on the daily, right? Let's jump to the 4 hour for the ADA, right? In terms of the RSI, we do have this downward sloping resistance line on the RSI here, which we're miles away from. We're near enough central on the RSI here. So in terms of what could happen right now, it's pretty hard to get an indication because we could be seeing that selling power to the downside. If we see that selling power to the downside, we are going to see a buyback if we do get oversold here. And vice versa, if we jump to the upside, we are going to get near enough overbought there, and we are going to see that momentum to the downside, right? And obviously, we do have this downward sloping resistance line to think about as well, because we are likely to see some sort of resistance coming down from that point there. So definitely something to think about. I need to find some new vocabulary for that, right? Definitely something to consider. Definitely something to take into account when trading ADA there. As you can see, we just have had that bearish crossover on the MACD there. So we are, as I said a second ago, in this downtrend momentum at this point in time. How low will we go? At this point in time, we would be looking at a low target. A low target of momentum here around this point, around this 0.02 point for the MACD there. And that'd be ideal for a nice level of support if we can get a bullish crossover and flip to the upside, initiating, in a sense, a nice bounce potentially off this 1.50 mark for $1.50 mark for ADA there on the midterm, right? And if we are to lose that on the MACD there, I would be looking at a target of potentially coming down to this level or around just over this point, and then we would basically invalidate this previous downtrend that we've got coming through here, and then we would be setting some sort of new trend cycle to think about in terms of the future for ADA on the midterm in terms of a trend, right? But at this point in time, we don't actually have a pivot point for that trend cycle on the downside, right? But when we do see that bullish crossover, that is definitely a point to think about, because we are going to have that pivot point in terms of that downtrend to think about for the midterm for ADA there. But yeah, target wise, in terms of a summary for the midterm, I would love to see a bounce here. We are seeing a bit of upwards momentum from this point, as we are setting a higher low here in terms of the live candle right now. But as I said a second ago, well, I didn't say that a second ago, but we are currently only literally like 15, 20 minutes near enough into this 4-hourly candle there. So it's definitely something to consider, because we could come up and test this 200 moving average at this $1.59 mark and see a swift rejection coming through from there, right? If we do see a swift rejection coming through from there, we're going to see that downwards momentum, right? And we are going to be testing this horizontal level of support at $1.50. $1.50.39 there. So it's definitely something to take into account. If we do lose that zone, I would be seeing the next point being around this high low point, which we would be looking at testing, and hopefully we do see that upwards momentum to the upside from there. That's the wrong tool. Upwards momentum from there. What is happening to my chart right now? 1 second, guys. Yep, there we go, back. We are seeing that upwards momentum from this point here at around that $1.44 mark. So if we are going to see a nice bounce point, it would ideally be at this point here, hopefully not invalidating this high low, which we've set on the long term here, right? Because that basically initiates that we are continuing the uptrend. If we are to invalidate this one as well, it would be looking like these lower highs are going to take dominance, and we are going to see that complete reversal in the trend there, and potentially coming down to the abyss, right? Which we don't want for ADA, right? Bullish on ADA. But yeah, that's kind of ADA summed up, guys, in terms of short-term targets and long-term targets there. That was the 4-hour. Let me jump to the hourly, right? Jump to the hourly. Obviously, as you can see from these lower high points that we have been having for ADA here, I would be looking at a potential strong downward sloping resistance line coming through here. So in terms of a target, I would be looking at coming up and testing these major moving averages we've got coming through here. Coming to the downside. Obviously, we do have this 200, which is pretty dominant, right? It's pretty dominant, the 200 moving average, and we do see that heavy level of resistance continuously off this 200 moving average, which is this purple one here, right? But with that being said, we do see that nice level of support as well. So if we can get a nice level of support off that, potentially correlating with testing this downward sloping resistance line here as well, and finding a nice level of support there, next target would be coming up to this high point here at that $1.79, right? Very, very nice stuff indeed. In terms of the RSI right now, it is near enough oversold, right? It's near enough oversold in terms of the hourly. So within the next hour, as I said a second ago, we are looking at that curl over, setting those high lows and that trend reversal. Ideally, we want to invalidate this lower high coming down here. That would be ideal, and potentially coming up and testing this sort of zone here, right? Yep, that's pretty much ADA summed up there. Any requests, guys, smash them in the chat. I'll do a live TA for you on this live stream. And guys, if you're enjoying the live stream, hit that thumbs up, turn that thumbs up blue, helps me out tremendously, right? Obviously a new YouTuber on the block, and I need the help with the algorithms, right? It's really hard. Very lovely indeed. And guys, I stream every single Monday to Friday, 1 to 2 hours every single morning. Remember to take a breath there, bud. Yeah, I do go pretty fast, man. I am feeling my throat this week, definitely. It's the most stream I've ever done, and my throat is definitely like, oh, it's the most talking you've ever done. Like yesterday, I did like 3.5 hours in one stream, and then I jumped on a stream again and did another hour and a half, just talking like really, really fast continuously. On the plus side, I am drinking a hell of a lot more water than I used to, so that is good for the body. I do guess that right. Matic. Hello, Nilesh, returning guy there. I'll do Matic for you, sir. Where are we with Matic? Yeah, there we are. Matic right now with Matic and KSM. I'll jump to KSM and Luna for you there as well, mate. Getting those requests in, stacking them up there. Yeah, I'll get onto those. That's you've basically created a list for me, sir. So thank you very much. Yeah, so we'll jump to the daily for the old Matic right now. As discussed, we were discussing this upwards momentum to the upside here, and it was pretty big indeed, near 124% correction in terms of that low point that we had, in terms of that candle close, right? We were looking at testing the all-time high close that we had coming through here. We did test it, and we did see that swift rejection, right? We did see that swift rejection. I think I stated that we were going to potentially get rejected from this point here, because we are going to see that insane resistance, right? We saw that insane resistance from this point on the daily here. So definitely something to think about. Ideally, for the daily right now, I can see us curling over, potentially coming down and testing this 21, right? Potentially coming down, testing this 21. Ideally, what we would like today is a flaccid candle right now. Nothing too major. Not setting insane lower lows to hit in this trend that we've got coming down here. And more importantly, not invalidating this higher low that we've got coming down here. So if we are going to see a come down and a test of this 21 here, we basically want to fizzle out, right? We want to fizzle out over the next few days. Let this 21 come up. Let us come and test it. So then we're not invalidating this higher low here, which basically means we are going to see that reversal in the trend if we do invalidate this higher low here. Hopefully we don't, and we get a bounce, and we have that continuation to the upside, setting those higher highs continuously of this trend. But at this point in time, ideally, a nice price target for the day. If we are going to be not looking at coming down and testing this 21, I would be ideally liking to come up and try and break this lower high that we've got going here. Try and invalidate that. That would be brilliant in terms of Matic on the daily, right? And then obviously we do have the next horizontal level resistance at $2.43 around that point. Yeah, that would be the next long-term target for Matic there. In terms of that's the daily sort of summed up there. As you can see here, we did see a swift rejection off this volume weighted ATR band here, and that's basically the downwards momentum that we're seeing here. And we are currently testing the price action channel, right? Ideally, we would like a bounce off the price action channel and then finding a nice level of support off this 21 moving average coming through here. So I definitely say it's a point to watch. It's definitely a point to watch right now. If we are to get above this 21, we are going to see that congruent high low being set within the next 4 hours. And that would basically mean that we are going to see a nice little trend reversal to the upside from there. Hopefully invalidating this lower high, as I just said, on the daily time frame there. That would be the target. But in terms of the short-term target right now, we do have... that lower high there. We do have these lower highs coming through here, so we do need to get past them. Ideally, we need to get past them with a lot of upwards momentum there. Hello, Elizabeth. Nice to have you on the stream here. But as you can see here, ideally, worst case scenario, we are going to be looking at coming down, losing the price action channel here and testing this 55 moving average. 55 moving average is a crucial moving average in terms of a bounce point, right? In terms of upwards momentum. So ideally, we would be looking at a bounce from that 55. But if we are to lose the 55, crucial point, right? If we are to lose the 55, look at you can see how strong the 55, which is this green moving average is here. We are just continuously riding that wave, right? We are continuously riding that wave. But as you can see here, if we do lose that 55, we are going to see that downwards momentum, right? We are going to see that downwards momentum. So that's definitely something to consider in terms of a price, right? If we do get to that $1.78 mark, we are going to see some downwards. If we do lose that $1.78 mark in terms of a candle close there, we are going to see some downwards momentum in terms of Matic there. And I do hate to say it, we have seen insane gains. Smash that like button, folks. Yeah, it does help me out tremendously, guys, if you could hit that like button. Turn that thumbs up blue. Obviously, if you are enjoying the stream, right? But yeah, back to what I was saying. At Matic here, all of us have seen that insane buying momentum to the upside. That insane... the insane gains with Matic, right? It's one of the only altcoins out here that has actually basically come up and near enough tested the all-time high from before. In this uncertain market that we've been seeing right now, So at this point in time, I am pretty bullish on Matic, but I wouldn't be surprised if we were to see some sort of trend reversal down to this high low point here, and that in terms of a price would be around that $1.53, 54 sort of mark there. Oh, sorry, $1.53 to 56 mark there. In terms of candle close of that that higher low there. Ideally, we would be looking at a bounce from there, but obviously it's all on the predication whether we stay above this 55 moving average as well. And that's basically Matic summed up on the midterm there. In terms of the RSI, pretty central, not a lot to go on. If we are going to see that upwards momentum, we do have this downward sloping resistance line coming through here, which obviously, as you can see here, we do find quite a bit of resistance from as well. So if we are going to come up and see a surge to the upside in terms of buying power, I would be looking at a target of firstly to get over this 21 and seeing that support being formed there, and then basically coming up and testing this volume weighted ATR band. But if we do come up and test this volume weighted ATR band, it does in a sense correlate perfectly with this downward sloping resistance line on the RSI, right? So we are going to likely see some sort of resistance from there, potentially coming down, testing this 21 moving average again before finding that confidence and potentially finding that confidence to progress to the upside from there. Skydemex OG out here, come on my guy, coming through again, third day in a row I do believe on the stream. Nice to see you here again, bro. But yeah, so in terms of what I was just saying here on the Matic, on the RSI, on the midterm here, we are looking at coming down if we do come up and test this downward sloping resistance line, and that basically correlates perfectly with this volume weighted ATR band coming through here. So we'll be looking at coming down and seeing that selling power. If we are to see that selling power and we do get central again, we could be looking at another upswing. Basically just like testing this sort of zone for Matic at the moment. That's pretty much the healthiest scenario I can see. If we are going to see that massive upswing and that massive move to the upside, which we have seen with Matic recently, those insane buys to the upside. I mean, I wouldn't rule it out because obviously I know a lot of people that are bullish on Matic and they are accumulating, right? So all these down points are literally just accumulation zones because people do believe Matic does have a lot of upwards potential, right? Definitely a lot of upwards potential. In terms of targets for an upwards potential for Matic, it would be that all-time high there around $2.56, and past that, if we do get past the previous all-time high close there, it would be the next target would be this this insane trend line coming up from these previous uptrends. That's the wrong thing. From these previous uptrends coming here and around. If we are going to see that it won't be imminent, right? We're not going to see that parabolic movement. I don't think we are going to see that completely trickle up and basically test this volume weighted ATR band continuously, and then we're going to see that resistance off the high point here of Matic, the all-time high there, before seeing a nice wave to the upside at around that. But in terms of a long-term target, it would be around that $3.88 mark. Really, really insane stuff for Matic if that is to come off there. Obviously on the predication that Bitcoin doesn't fall off a cliff, because as we know, it does lead the market in that sort of sense, right? It does lead the market and cause that panic sell-off. But in terms of Matic itself, it is very, 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 very good at recovering from that, right? So it's definitely something to consider. And I know a lot of people are very bullish on Matic, right? So that obviously helps the momentum to the upside, right? Hello, Plurat. Nice to see you again. Sergio, nice to see you here. Would you confirm a double head on BTC? I can see that formation on the 1 hour chart. Let me jump to that once I've jumped through Neilesh's list here, and that is that KSM I'm jumping to next. But guys, if you're enjoying the stream, smash that like button. Helps me out tremendously, of course. Obviously, if you're enjoying the stream, right? Don't hit it if you're not. But yeah, helps me out tremendously in terms of the YouTube algos. Turn that thumbs up blue. And guys, I stream every single morning, Monday to Friday, 1 to 2 hours here. So if you are enjoying the stream and you want to be here with me every single morning on those weekdays, smash that subscribe button. Smash that notification bell. You're never going to miss one of my uploads. Also, I do altcoin videos. I do emergency updates. So yeah, you're never going to miss one of my uploads if you smash that notification bell as well. As we can see here for the 4 hour, right? For the 4 hour, I can see some sort of symmetrical triangle playing out right now, some symmetrical triangle sort of playing out, and we are actually, well, that's wrong. We are actually breaking that to the lower side, right? We have seen that downwards momentum break to the lower side. So ideally, I would be looking at a test to come up. If we were looking for a short position here, if we were looking for a nice short position here, we could be looking at coming up, testing this lower side of the symmetrical triangle here around that $317 mark before seeing that retrace in the price. If we are going to see that retrace in the price, we could be looking at some sort of measure move looking along the lines of this, right? Well, kind of more or less played that out, right? But if we are going to come up, it's an inkling that we are going to come up and find a resistance off the 21 as well. So that is basically another sign that we could be coming down and seeing a potential short trade there. In terms of in terms of percentage for that, we could be looking at a nice 7%, obviously taking a nice level of profit at this horizontal support line at that $300 mark. Definitely something to think about in terms of the 4 hour chart for KSM there. In terms of the RSI right now, we're pretty central, right? We're pretty central, so there's not really that much going on there to talk about. In terms of the MACD, right, we have just had that bearish crossover here, so we are looking at a continuation in terms of a downtrend here, and as you can see on the 4 hour chart, we've currently just lost the support that we had on this horizontal support line, which is now going to be a horizontal resistance line at that $300 mark. So definitely something to consider. If we are to close the candle below that, we are looking at a potential leg lower. and the continuation of this downtrend on the MACD here. Sorry, the chat's lagging here. Yeah, so that's basically what I can see happening on KSM right now. In terms of next target point, if we are going to dump down, if we are going to see that downwards momentum, it would be this higher low point here at that 283. But we would need some insane downwards momentum from there, and that basically correlates with the RSI here. If we are going to see that selling power, right? If we are going to see that selling power on the RSI, we are going to be looking at that buyback power, and that basically means we are likely to bounce off this 283 zone. Yeah, the $283 mark. We are likely to bounce off that, in terms of the correlating with the RSI as well, right? Let's jump to the daily quickly, see what's happening on the daily. Yep, target's still there for that 283 mark. If we are to lose that 283 mark on the daily here, in terms of this daily candle, I would be looking at the next target of the low point being this candle close of those insane swings there, and that basically is going to correlate perfectly with the 200 moving average as well. So if we do see that, we are going to be looking at a potential bounce from there, potentially even in a long position, obviously depending on the volatility of the market at the time, right? Crazy stuff there. Very exciting, very exciting. But as you can see here, we have been setting these lower highs, right? These lower highs are now being set continuously. So that does, in a sense, mean we are going to see that continuation to the downside. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if we do come and test this 200 moving average within the next like 3 or 4 days or so, something along the lines of that, right? So it's definitely something to consider. In terms of the live price target right now, let's jump to the hourly. In terms of the live price target right now, it would be to basically close this 1 hour candle and set a higher low in terms of this trend reversal, which we've got coming through here. Hopefully we can do that and see a test of this bottom side of this symmetrical triangle, and potentially be looking at a short position, because as you can see here, we are looking at these major moving averages coming down as well, the 55, the price action channel, and the 21 moving average as well. So if we are looking at downwards resistance point from there, it could be around this point, potential short position to think about, right? Obviously nothing I say is financial advice. It's just opinions on what I think could happen in the market, and from an educational standpoint, do not be taking any of these trades that I'm saying. I'm just saying them for you guys to go and research them yourselves and do your own TA. But yeah, if I can educate you on a potential trade position, not saying take it, but potential trade position there, then yeah, obviously I'm helping you guys out, and yeah, I like doing that, right? I like doing that. But yeah, short-term target, I would be looking at closing just above this high low point here at around that 296, around that to around 298. You want to be closing above that, and as I said, it correlates with that. With this level of support, well, currently level of resistance, horizontal level of resistance point at that 300 mark as well. So that's KSM kind of summed up for you there. Neelesh, let me jump to Luna for you, sir. Very nice indeed. Where are we? There's Luna. Nice to take a breath. Oh, good. Very good stuff. Obviously, we do have this this nice level of support coming through here, which we did break. So I'm going to basically close that for now. And I'm going to be drawing a nice one coming down here, right? Because as you can see, we are setting these lower highs continuously. So that is basically an indication that we do have a nice level of resistance coming down like that, right? Nice level of resistance coming down like that. So if we are going to come up to the upside for Luna on the 4 hour here, we are looking at a nice level of resistance at around that $6.67 mark, correlating pretty much with this 200 moving average as well. So that would be a key point to watch in the next 4 hours. In the next 4 hours as well, if we can get up to that point. If we can get up to that point, that would be absolutely ideal, because that means we are going to be setting a higher low in terms of this trend reversal here, and we could be looking at a little bit of upwards momentum. Ideally, we do want to break this trend line here to see that upwards momentum, to see it come through there, and we would be invalidating these lower highs continuously if we were to see that upwards momentum. And for a trend reversal in terms of crypto in general right now, that is what we need, right? That is what we need. We need to stay above this higher low that we are coming through here in order to actually progress to the upside. If we are going to lose this point here, this crucial point at $5.65, it's pretty much the same on all charts. We're going for this lower high point here. If we are to lose that, right, on all the charts, we are looking at potential leg down lower, right? Potential leg down lower, which could be setting another higher low here, or worst case scenario, we would be seeing another lower low in the trend, right? And I know for a fact, if we are to lose this this higher low point here, then we are going to see a bit of panic sell off in the market, right? Because it's going to scare a lot of people, right? It's going to scare a lot of people in terms of seriously entering that bear market. Whether we are in it or not, no one knows at this point, because this could be a massive trap that we're going through here. But yeah, at this point in time, this is confirmation that we will be coming down lower if we are to lose this $5.65 point, right? Let's jump to the weekly, right? Let's jump to the weekly for Luna right now. As you can see, we have seen that the high lows being set continuously, and now we are seeing those lower lows being set on the daily candles, right? Not the weekly. Yeah, the daily candles on the weekly here. Ideally, we would be looking for a bounce point at that $5.65 mark. Keep streaming. Channel will blow up one day. figuratively. Yeah, I hope so, man. Hope so, man. I have done insane gains in the last like 2 weeks and stuff. I hit that 140 subscribers yesterday, which is just absolutely insane. Never thought I'd even get 100 in a month, right? So yeah, appreciate you guys here for subscribing. There helps. Well, it doesn't help me out tremendously, but yeah, it's really, really good creating content for you. I'm having a great time. Mark, I'll look at crypto.com for you in 1 sec. I've just got to do. I'm doing Luna quickly, and then I'm jumping back to BTC for Sergio, and then I'll jump to crypto.com for you there, sir. But in terms of a bounce point for Luna right now, it would be this $5.67 mark, $5.65 mark. As I said on the short term there, it would be the high low that we would be challenging there. Hopefully we don't lose that. If we lose that, then we would be coming down to this sort of support point down here around that $4 there. Horrible stuff there. Hopefully we don't. Hopefully we get a bounce, and hopefully we invalidate these lower highs coming through here in terms of these lower highs coming through here, right? In terms of if we do that, we would be looking at breaking that resistance line that we've got coming through there, and we would be looking at the next target point of that $7.85 there. I mean, in terms of moving averages coming down here, we don't really have a lot because obviously we dumped off a cliff and we were consolidating for quite a while here. So that means the moving averages, they're going to need a little time to catch up if we are seeing that downwards momentum, right? So we don't really have any levels of resistance to think about in terms of the long term here for Luna. Apart from these horizontal resistance lines that we've got coming through here from the previous all-time highs which we were setting when we were seeing those insane buys to the upside, right? So definitely something to consider in terms of bounce points, right? Definitely in terms of bounce point. As you can see, we did see a nice bounce here when we came down, tested it, found support, and progressed to the upside from there. So ideally, we would like to see a bounce from this $5.65 zone. That would be the target point to watch for the daily on the old Luna there. The line is holding. Gent, thanks, mate. No problem at all, Mark. What are we at for Bitcoin? Oh, 36.7 now, not good at all, right? That's what I'm jumping to next. We said, can you look at the formation on the hourly chart? Let's jump to the hourly chart. And you were saying, that's wrong. You were saying, what were you saying there? Double head down. I mean, yeah, at this point in time, it's not looking good, right? We are looking for this bounce point on this higher low point. If we don't get that, as I said, we are going to potentially be looking at a target point of this level of support around that 35,200 mark. That's why I put it in the title of the stream here. And I said a few streams ago, right? I said a few streams ago, we do have the potential, if we are setting these lower high points here, if we are setting these lower high points and we're not smashing through these higher high points in terms of the uptrend here, if we're not smashing through them, we would be looking at coming down to test this 36,500 zone. Some guy laughed at me for that. It was quite funny. But yeah, we're looking at testing that 36,500 zone. Ideally, what we want now for BTC, we want a bounce, right? We want to bounce to the upside. We don't want to be invalidating this higher low here. If we do invalidate that higher low there, we are looking at coming down, right? Not great, not ideal, but be prepared. Watch this point with your eyes today, because if we do lose that 36,500 zone, it's not good at all. And as you can see, we are currently testing this downward sloping resistance line coming through here. We are testing this downward sloping resistance line coming through here of this channel that we've got coming down, right? We've got this giant channel coming down, right? So we do need to think about that. If we are to claim that, we could even be looking at coming down and testing this lower point of this trend line that we got coming through here, right? Hate to say it, that is sat at around 29k. Don't want to be getting anywhere near there for Bitcoin, right? Because that would just be awful for I think everyone's portfolios in terms of holding alts as well. So it's crucial. It's crucial we hold our own here. It's crucial we see that trend reversal. It's crucial we claim this resistance line here. Claim this resistance line and find that support and progress to the upside. And then we got to test through all these major moving averages coming down there, right? Let me look at. So that's definitely the short-term targets there for BTC there. In terms of the midterm right now, we are looking at that bounce point. It's pretty much the same thing here. We're looking at that bounce point. If we can get it, that'd be ideal. We are seeing a higher low in terms of this candle reversal here, but we do still have this lower high to get over, so we do have a lot of upwards momentum. In terms of a percent for that, we do need to be climbing literally like 3 or 4% there for Bitcoin, which is crazy, right? Which is crazy. But we have seen it dump, we have seen it pump, literally 8-9% in a day, like, so it could happen, right? It could happen. We are looking for that bounce points. But in terms of the 4 hour right now, I would be looking for that 4 hourly close on creating this high low cemented in place there, and that is an indication that we are going to see a reversal in the trend there. That would be ideal, right? That would be absolutely ideal. Let me jump to crypto.com there for you there, Mark. Like a commentator speaking this fast. Crazy stuff. Just first stance right now, we do obviously have this dominant trend line coming down here, correlating perfectly with these lower highs continuously. So if we are looking for an upwards target right now, if we are looking for, thanks mate, keep up the great job. No worries, not at all, Sergio, not at all. Thank you very much for the compliment, right? And if you like the stream, smash that thumbs up button. Turns that thumbs up blue, helps me out tremendously, right? Yeah, so in terms of crypto.com, Crow right now, we are looking at this this being a target point around this 13 cent 76 mark. But in order to do that, we do need to invalidate this lower high point that we've had coming through here, right? This lower high point that we've had coming through here in terms of this downtrend. We do need to invalidate that. We do need to test this 21 moving average as well. In order to do that, we would need to find a nice level of not find resistance off that point there and smash through it and find a nice level of support. And in terms of a target for finding that support is around that $14.44 mark, around that point. If you do find support there, I wouldn't be looking at a massive move to the upside there, because obviously you do have these moving averages to think about as well, right? And that's the 200. That's a very dominant moving average. The 200 SMA there, very, very dominant indeed. We do have this price action channel coming down as well, right? Let me just get rid of these moving averages for a second for you guys. Let me get rid of these moving averages for a second and volume weighted ATR, and then we'll show the price action channel, right? We'll show the price action channel and we'll basically show how much it's respected, right? This price action channel is heavily respected on not just crypto.com, it's respected on all charts here in terms of levels of resistance, in terms of levels of support, right? It's just heavily respected, and we always come down, we always come back up, we always retrace into it, right? So it's definitely something to consider, because we are looking, if we are looking at coming up and testing it again, we could find some resistance there. But if we find a nice level of support there, we are looking at a nice progressive pump to the upside. In terms of a target for that pump there, we could be looking at something along the lines of getting up to this 55 moving average here. But obviously these guys they're coming in pretty steep, right? They're coming in pretty steep. And if we do see this 55 come down with this 200, we're going to see some sort of death cross coming through here, and that's an indication that we are going to have that continuation down, right? So it's definitely something to consider in terms of moving averages crossing over and that sort of stuff there. In terms of short-term target, it would be to get over this 21 and this downward sloping resistance line at this 14 cent 42 mark, as just said there on the daily, right? But at this point in time, we are setting these lower highs in terms of this trend here. We would be looking for that bounce to invalidate these higher lows as we've got coming up here. In terms of absolute low target, right now it won't be obviously coming down straight away because we are on the daily. In terms of absolute low target, it would be this candle close here at this 9 cents mark, and we'll be looking at a bounce from there, big accumulation zone for me personally, because I'm bullish on crypto.com for the long term, right? They are doing some amazing things and trying to catch up Binance in terms of technology, which is fascinating as well, right? Very, very fascinating. If you don't know your research on that, do some research on that. I can't tell you off the top of my head. I can't remember everything in the world. But yeah, here to do TA, not blockchain education, right? But yeah, in terms of the 4 hour, the midterm for crypto.com here, we do have a pretty head and shoulders sort of pattern forming here. Let me see if I can get that up here. Yeah, head and shoulders pattern forming here. Left shoulder, right shoulder, head coming through here. Probably looking along the lines of that. We would have liked to see it come down a bit more. But ideally, in terms of a target for that, obviously we have kind of lost it there. So that does kind of suck. But yesterday we would have seen a nice potential move to the upside there. So yeah, let's kind of invalidate that for now. But yeah, that's kind of what it looked like. There's no harm in trying to see what it looked like, right? If we are going to see a curl over in this price here, we could be looking at a potential support line coming through here, right? Potential support line coming through here. And then we are looking at a curl to the upside. And then the next test point would be trying to invalidate this lower high point here at that $13 here, right? Great TA, bro. Much appreciated. Great show. Keep it lit, lad. Crow family, long term. Yes, sir. Can't really do those gang signs and stuff, right? But yeah, yes, sir. Nice one, Mark. Much appreciated, bro. But yeah, so at this point in time, short-term target would be to get over this this resistance line that we are the resistance line that we are potentially creating here. Obviously, it's not that valid at this point in time, but if we do see some candle closes above it, we are going to be looking at that upwards momentum, and then this trend line is going to be valid, right? It's going to be valid indeed, and then the next target would be to invalidate this lower high point that we've got coming through here. So short-term target would be to get over these moving averages here, and that is around 12 cent 82. Ideally above the 55. Find that upwards momentum from the 55. That would be very nice indeed. In terms of a level of support, and then we would be looking at this lower high. So short-term target would be that 12 cent 86 to think about, which we're only at 12. We're at 12.18, so it's not even that far away. But yeah, so that would be a nice target there to think about, guys. If you've got any requests, smash them in the chat, and I will smash through them as quick as I can for you there. And guys, if you're liking the stream, smash that thumbs up. Helps me out tremendously in terms of the algorithms. Let me jump to a bit of XRP. Should we do a bit of XRP? Yeah, bit of XRP right now. We were talking about the symmetrical triangle coming through and potential short position there. It's not something I entered personally. I did get into my Bitcoin trade there, and I made wasn't that much percent, right? This was on the hourly. We came up for the retest on the hourly here, and we came down, took a nice chunk of profit around this 4% mark, as I was predicting that we were going to bounce off this support line that we got coming through here. Took a nice chunk of my profit there. I think it was around 60%, something like that. And then I took another chunk of my profit when we came down and tested this lower high, right? Sorry, this higher low point there. The reason why I left my trade and I didn't take it all out at this point here was because I was looking at this measure move coming through here. We do have a pretty big measure move coming down there, which would actually bring us all the way down to 35,800. But as with crypto measure moves, they are reliable, right? They are reliable, but you have to manage your position throughout your trade and not look for that measure move completion, right? You can't be looking for that measure move completion all the time. It's just it's an indication of where the trend could potentially go if it does break to that direction, right? So you do use these moving averages as basically pivot points in a sense, and obviously massive levels of support in terms of trend lines coming through for take profit points as well. So it's definitely something to consider. Very nice little trade there in terms of like around near enough 6%. Very, very nice indeed for Bitcoin. Let me jump back to XRP here. If you were looking at XRP with your BDIs and stuff, you would have seen a potential short position coming through here. I don't know if we had that retest. Not quite. Oh, yeah, well, near enough. We do have this trap zone coming through down here. Let me just do this. Bang, bang. Oh, no, that's not right. Yeah, we do have this trap zone coming through here to think about in terms of XRP here, in terms of these wicks coming down, in terms of trapping us without leaving this symmetrical triangle that we got coming through here. So I would have been waiting to see whether we were to lose this trap here, but we didn't actually come back up and test the top side of this, the bottom side of the symmetrical triangle here. So that's a position I wouldn't be entering. I need that confirmation for us to test that top side there before getting in, because we could just see a massive candle to the upside there. But we did actually come down. We did actually complete the measure move. So well done to everyone who got involved with that for XRP there. Very nice indeed. In terms of trade percentages, we would be looking at something around near enough to 6% there. Very nice indeed. In terms of a trade, in terms of a bounce point, which we're looking for right now, we did actually get lower than this higher low point here, which isn't good indeed. And at this point in time, our candle close is looking like in the next hour we are going to get below it, right? Crucial stuff there. If we do get below it, not good indeed. Then we need to basically reference the 4 hour here, excuse me. We do need to reference the 4 hour here, because if we do close this 4 hour below this higher low point, we are looking at that continuation to the downside, right? We're looking at that continuation to the downside. And that could basically mean we could be looking at a target of a bit lower than this, right? A bit lower than this, around 74 cents there for XRP. I must say that's cheap. That's very, very cheap for XRP, even though I do remember XRP when it was at like 20p, right? It's crazy stuff. But yeah, so I do think this 74 cent here target point on this volume weighted ATR band in terms of a bounce point is it's very achievable. It's very achievable. But in order for that to happen, in order to have that confirmation, we would be looking at a candle close below this higher low point. At this point in time, we are just kind of wicking it, and we've still got 3 hours and 12 minutes, right? We've still got 3 hours and 12 minutes to hold this horizontal at this point level of resistance. If we can smash through that and find a nice level of support on that and get candle close above it, candle close above this high low point, that would indicate that we are looking for a bounce in terms of an uptrend on the 4 hourly for XRP there. In terms of a target, if we are looking for that bounce, it wouldn't be to invalidate these lower highs straight away, because obviously we do have level of resistance coming down off this 21 moving average as well. So we do need to take that into account. If we are going to look at a bounce from there, it could be looking at something along the lines of this, and then potentially falling in line with this previous higher low point as well here, right? If we can smash through that and find a nice level of resistance off this 21 here, we could be looking at a bounce point and bouncing off this level of support, which will be support at this 93 cent mark. Definitely something to consider when trading the old XRP, right? Guys, if you've got any requests, smash them in the chat and I will do a TA for you. Obviously, it's got to be on TradingView. Obviously, the chart's got to be on TradingView. And please, no ship, right? please, no ship. Right, let me jump to... let me have some water first, and then I'm going to jump to... I'll jump to DOT, right? And guys, if you're enjoying the stream, smash that like button up. Helps me out tremendously. Turn that thumbs up blue. And guys, I stream every single day, Monday to Friday, 1 to 2 hours every single morning. So if you want to do this with me every single weekday, press the subscribe button, press that notification bell. You're never going to miss one of my uploads. And also, I do altcoin videos. I do altgem videos. I do cryptocurrency updates, right? I just do loads of crypto content. So you never want to miss one of my uploads. If you never want to miss one of my uploads, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and you never will. YouTube will tell you when I'm uploading, right? It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. But yeah, thanks again for being here, guys. It means a lot. Obviously, only been streaming 2 weeks here. So it's definitely still trying to get over the nerves and stuff of streaming, because I've never really done it before. But yeah, it means a lot, you guys being here, and it's nice to get information across to you guys. As you can see here, we do have this rising wedge on the midterm for DOT. We are actually losing this to the downside, so we do have potential. Morning, sir. Morning, Barry. Some TO and Matic, if you would. I will jump onto that in a second, Barry. Once I've just done DOT here, I have covered Matic already, but for you, sir, I will do it again. For you, sir, I will do it again. As you can see here, potential short position coming through for DOT here. Potential short position coming through for DOT on the midterm here. We are looking at pretty central on the RSI here as well, so we could be looking at a nice downward swing, right, in terms of selling power. In terms of a measure move for this trade, we could be looking at something along the lines of this. And I'm not being funny, on the 4 hour, it's looking very good because we've got no levels of support here to get through, apart from this lower high point, which we've already tested, right? We've already tested it, so we could be looking at getting through that. And we haven't got to this crucial point here, this higher low point here, which a lot of the charts have already got to, right? A lot of the charts have already got to, and they're bouncing at, in terms of an example for that, Bitcoin, right? In terms of an example for that Bitcoin. So in terms of DOT right now, this is a potential short position we could be looking at getting into. And that could be a very juicy 11%, just under 12% there, in terms of a percent for that trade. Obviously, nothing I say is financial advice. It's just my opinions on what I think might happen in the market. If I can educate you guys on a potential trade position to research yourself, then yeah, I would do that because it helps everyone out, right? In terms of the hourly right now, we are looking at coming up. We've had that retest. We've had that retest of this rising wedge that we've got coming through here, and we are currently testing this pretty dominant level of support. As you can see, we are pretty much holding it at this point in time, and that is around the $22.84, right? If we can break that to the downside, that would be even more confirmation that we are going to see this measure move play out. Very nice, juicy trade. Nothing really stopping us at this point. In terms of a take profit point for that trade, we would be looking at the bottom side of this measure move, but we do have a nice level of support coming through at this 21 here, so I would be taking a chunk of my profit, right? And don't be afraid of ever taking a chunk of your profit out, and that's near enough 9% there. So obviously not going to take out all your trade, because we would be looking at that completion of the measure move, but potentially you would be taking out a nice chunk of your profit there. Just something to think about, right? Just something to think about in terms of educational purposes. In terms of the long term for DOT right now, we have been setting these high lows all the way up, and we are seeing that bit of a curl over, right? We're seeing a bit of a curl over. We haven't been setting these lower highs in terms of this uptrend that we've got coming through here, which is positive in terms of the daily, right? Which is positive in terms of the daily. Ideally, that's covering that, yeah. Ideally, we are setting these high lows continuously, so we actually haven't had that insane confirmation that we are going to see that reversal yet. So that's definitely something to consider on the daily here. If we are looking at some sort of target on the daily here, it would be to not invalidate this higher low at that 21.74, right? 21.74. And as I said, a lot of charts at this point in time have invalidated the previous higher low that we've had here. So ideally for DOT, we don't want to be doing that, right? We don't want to be invalidating that lower high. Even though we could be looking at a potential trade down to that point, but we don't want to invalidate that lower high anytime soon. And if we do, it's basically confirmation that we are going to come down and test this lower point at $19.75. Let me jump onto Matic for you there, Barry. I've got a friend called Barry, actually. We will call him Bazza. Bazza. But yeah, so let me jump to the daily. Let's jump to the daily for Matic right now. Obviously, we do have this dominant point of resistance at this top side of Matic here. And the previous all-time high here sat at around $2.46 in terms of the candle close there for the daily. In terms of what's happening right now, I did sort of see this happening, Barry, here, because we did see this insane upwards momentum. We did see, as we crashed off a cliff, right? As we crashed off a cliff, the insane buying momentum in terms of comparing it to the other top 50 cryptocurrencies that are out there. Matic was performing abnormally. It was having that insane buying power, jumping up percents like 20% in a day, crazy stuff like that. So in terms of correction for that, in terms of correction for this in a sense parabolic movement that we've got going through here, this is absolutely fine. This is absolutely fine. Nothing to worry about. We would be looking at a bounce point, though. We're looking at a bounce point in terms of a target. It would be to bounce off this 55 pretty imminently to the upside, right? If we do bounce like that, I can see the buying momentum being reinstated in a sense, right? And then the next target for that wouldn't be up to this point here, wouldn't be up to the all-time high. In a short-term target, it would be up to this lower high point here at around that $2.23, because we are likely to see a level of resistance there, as we've seen here, right? So it's crucial we get over that point, and that does actually correlate with this volume-weighted ATR band, which is crucial we get over that for another upwards move to the upside from there, right? And as you can see, if we do get over that volume-weighted ATR band, we are seeing that move to the upside. Granted, if we're below it, we're using it as a nice level of resistance, right? If we get above it, move to the upside, get above it, move to the upside. We respect it here and move to the upside, right? So that's crucial that we are getting over this volume-weighted ATR band here. before we see another leg up to the upside. If we do get over that volume weighted ATR band in the next, I probably wouldn't say in the next day or so, I'd probably say in the next 2-3 days, if we don't want to be parabolic, right? The next 2-3 days, that would be ideal over the weekend to get over this volume weighted ATR band. Then I can see another leg up coming, potentially invalidating the previous all-time high there, close at around that $2.55 mark. Ideally, if we can get over that, we would be looking at a nice test of this support, this upward sloping resistance line here around that $3.30 around that point. If we can get there in quite significant small amount of time, right, and that's around that point there. So yeah, if we can get there, that'd be ideal. Very, very good for Matic and bullish on Matic for the long term. But I have heard rumors we are going to see some insane corrections over the summer, and to be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised, right? I'm not going to be surprised because as we have seen these insane pumps to the upside here, they do need some big corrections, right? And this, in terms of a big correction, this is what we saw here in terms of that crypto crash, which is ideal, right? It's absolutely ideal for that correction because we need it. We need it. We can't be jumping up percents like crazy stuff, like 160% there without seeing some sort of correction to the downside, right? Otherwise, it's not going to be healthy. So yes, sir, we are looking not too bad, but it is crucial we do get over that. We do find a nice level of support on this 55, and then we do look at this volume weighted ATR band as a target. But with that being said, we are setting lower highs here continuously. So a downside target, if we are to lose this 55 moving average, crucial point to watch there. I would be looking at a bounce point at around that $1.53 mark in terms of holding this this higher low point in terms of this uptrend here. That would be the initial bounce point for me if we are to lose the 55. So watch this 55 with your eyes, and if we do lose it, we would be looking at a bounce point here, potential long position, obviously depending on how volatile it is, right? That's pretty much Matic summed up for you there, sir. Let me jump to everyone tweet Elon Musk to get some positive crypto news. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Elon Musk at this point in time after he manipulated the market, in my opinion. But yeah, he is trying to win back his trust with everyone, right? Can you do BTC? Sam Childs, returning viewer on the stream there. Jesus, Bitcoin is dumping off a cliff right now. We have literally just invalidated this higher low point that we've got coming here, and that basically is an initiation that we are going to come down lower, and we are going to be testing this 35,100 to 200 zone. As stated in my stream's title, which is always good news for me, right? We are dumping off a cliff live on the stream right now. This is crazy, crazy stuff. At 35,800 currently sat there. Let's jump down to, we are on the hourly time frame. Crazy, crazy stuff here. Target point, I would be looking at that 35,200 there for a bounce point potentially from there. Why all you streamers talk so fast? I'm sorry, man. I think like we talk so fast because it's like if we were like, yeah, and this is a higher low point to get over here. Like if we cannot find support here, we are going to come to the upside here. We just have so much information to outlay to you guys here. We need to talk so fast to get it all across. Otherwise, we're going to be talking about the same thing for literally like 10 to 15 minutes, and then your viewers drop off because everyone gets bored, right? So we do need that fast-paced talking. God, it is dumping off a cliff. That selling power is insane right now for Bitcoin. I just bought at 36,500. No, unlucky, bro. Unlucky indeed. Ideal target if we are to bounce from this 35,200 point. I would be looking at to come up and test this. Oh no, that's not a trend line. That's oh no, we could see some sort of trend line coming down from this point here. Yeah, in terms of a trend line coming down from this point here, in terms of resistance point, if we are to bounce off this 35,200 point, I would be looking at either coming up and testing that 36,500 zone, or later on in time, if we are to have some sort of consolidation period here, because obviously this is insane dumpage, right? We are going to need some sort of consolidation period for the price to, in a sense, catch up on itself. I would be looking at potentially testing this resistance point at this 36,000 to 35,000 mark here if we are to see that consolidation point, right? But in terms of a bounce point, as I just said, we are looking at a nice bounce on this 35,200. If we are to lose that 35,200, right, it's not good news. It's not good news, right? It's not good news. We are looking at coming down and potentially testing this next level of support at that 32,800 was that? No, 32,200, right? And if we are to lose that, we're looking at a bounce of this volume-weighted ATR band. We are looking at a potential long position from there. As you can see here, heavily respected, right? Heavily respected in terms of bouncing, right? So we do need to think about that in terms of a long position, obviously depending on how volatile the market is. And at this point in time, it's pretty goddamn volatile. Respect King, yes, Skydimax. Nice to see you here, sir. Time to short BTC. I mean, for me right now, it's a bit of a FUD right now. I wouldn't be getting in a short position. I would have been if I was live. Excuse me. If I was looking at the price here, and I was actually on BTC at that point in time, and I was trading. Obviously, I can't trade while being on the stream to you guys, which is unfortunate, right? I'm not going to lie, it is unfortunate when you're seeing price action like this. I would have looked for that break to the downside at this 36,500, and I would have potentially gotten a short there and had a nice tight stop loss there, and then we could have potentially been looking at a take profit around this 35,200 zone. That would have been ideal. In terms of percentages for that, right, we could have been looking at around nice 3%. Pretty much a scalp there for Bitcoin there. But yeah, in terms of shorting Bitcoin now, for me personally, I wouldn't. One, you're already halfway in the move to completion, and if you are to short now, you are going to be looking at literally like a 2% gain in terms of risk reward. In terms of your stop loss, right? If your stop loss is going to be at the top side of this resistance point, you would be looking at literally like near enough 2%. It literally equals out both sides. So risk reward isn't as good because you always want your stop loss a lot tighter than your actual reward. So if the trade is to play out and it is to be good, you are looking at a better gain indeed, right? God, we are seeing that dump, right? We are seeing that live dump. Yeah, that new hourly candle coming through there. And what we're looking at on the 4 hour. We've still got 3 hours left on the 4 hour, right? So that is definitely potential that we are going to come down and touch this 35,200 zone without a doubt in my mind. I can see that happening because obviously you see these colossal dumps. No chance in price retracement at this point, right? Not looking very good for Bitcoin at all, in my opinion. Just not looking very good at all. Just missed that one myself. Yep, pretty annoying, but what can you do? Can't get in every trade. Can't get in every trade. I made a nice profit last night anyway with Bitcoin, shorting from this point and taking a bit of profit here and then taking a nice bit of profit here as well. So that was very, very nice indeed. I think that was around, I can't remember the percent on that. That was 4%, and then we got a nice little 6% there. So altogether around 6%, just under 6% there. So yeah, in terms of a bounce points for Bitcoin right now, it would be this 35,200. But yeah, in terms of the long term right now, it is all correlating with this horizontal support point at well, so the next target would be 34,690 there in terms of a low point. But in terms of an absolute low point, right? In terms of an absolute low point, let's jump to the short term here. We obviously do have this this channel coming through. We do have this giant channel coming through to the downside, right? So worst case scenario, we have obviously, oh, that's wrong. We have just basically joined this channel, right? We've just joined back into this channel after coming up and basically testing the top side of it and creating this rising wedge. Because we are coming down to this channel, we could be looking at insane dumps to the downside. If we do see insane dumps to the downside, we're looking at a crucial bounce point if we lose this volume weighted ATR amount, obviously depending on how volatile the market is. If we are, this is basically a great pivot point to the upside. If we do lose that, this is going to be basically the panic sell catch, right? It's going to be the panic sell catch, which we're looking for for a bounce to the upside. And that price there is sat around 28,900. I can't really see us going any lower than that at this point. If we do go lower than that, then it's going to be absolutely dirty. And a lot of hope's going to be lost in crypto, right? And we don't need that right now. We need positive things for crypto right now. So yeah, ideally we don't want to be going anywhere near that level there. But in terms of a bounce point for Bitcoin right now, we're looking at that 35,200, and we're getting closer and closer to getting there. We are seeing these lower lows being set continuously in terms of these hourly candles here, in terms of this downtrend, in terms of the RSI right now. It's crucial point. We are seriously oversold, right? We're seriously oversold on the RSI here. So we are looking at that retracement, right? We are looking at that retracement pretty soon. And let's go on the basis that you did enter a short there. If we are looking at that RSI there, we would be looking at that retracement potentially to the center here in terms of buying power. You could literally come up, get stopped out, waiting for that bounce down again to the downside, right? So that's basically what they want basically what the whales want you to do, in a sense. They want you to be seeing, oh my god, it's dumping, time to short, and not looking at the actual TA about it. And basically they want your money. They want your money, and if you're leveraged, obviously you're going to get liquidated if you come up anywhere near that point, right? So yeah, Bitcoin right now, that's the RSI for Bitcoin right now. In terms of what's happening, it's very interesting what's happening on the MACD right now. We're testing that crucial level of support, right? We're testing that crucial level of support, and we are near enough getting over it. We did actually tickle over it just around this point here, so we could be looking at something along the lines of that here. Yeah, you can see that on my chart. I was just wondering whether my body was over it, right? But yeah, as you can see, we are tickling that level of support now. So that does initiate that we are potentially going to bounce here. Ideally, we do want to bounce, but if we do bounce here, we want to see some insane upwards momentum, and we want to test these insane resistance points to even contemplate getting higher, because we do have this, obviously, this downward sloping resistance line here, this downward sloping resistance line coming through here, and also this horizontal resistance point here at this higher low point that we have literally just invalidated, which is really sad in my opinion. But yeah, I'm just gonna have a drink of water. I think we may see a brief 29k just to scare all the leverage junkies, then bottom, then boom to the moon. Boom to the moon, baby. Yep, I agree with you there. Um, in answer to you tens, what if I just hold my coins? Will they be okay in the long run? So the thing is, right? If we look back to the last bull run for Bitcoin, let me jump back there, right? We jump back there to the last bull run for Bitcoin when we topped out at this 19,600 mark. 19,600 mark. Let's get to the daily, right? Yeah, daily. Let's get. God, my chart is messy right now. There's so much going on. Yeah. So as we topped out on this bull run in this 19,600 mark, we did see that insane price correction, right? And obviously that is going to pull a lot of the alts with it, right? It's going to pull a lot of the alts with it. So in terms of a portfolio, it's going to be down a hell of a lot, right? It's going to be down an absolute hell of a lot. And we did see that bear market actually bottom out around $3,000 there. So $3,000, so insane corrections, right, for Bitcoin in terms of percentages, right? It's just ridiculous corrections. So like your portfolio, if you were just holding Bitcoin, would have been 83% down, right? So and this is the time where the big guys want you all to sell off. They want you all to sell off and basically get out of all your positions. So I just need to get rid of these pivot points to make it a little bit more easy to see. They want you to sell out of your positions. But in answer to your question, right, if we are to see a bear market play out something like this, right, and when we do lose this bull market barrier coming through here, we are to see this bear market play out, and we are to see some sort of trickle down like so. Obviously we're not going to get that low. Trickle down like so, and then see a bottom. I don't know where the bottom's going to be, but we could be looking at some sort of around that point, right? I'm not going to put a price on it, incriminate myself in a sense, right? But yeah, if we are going to see us come down, for me, for crypto, personally, I don't think the world is ready for this blockchain technology yet. I don't think businesses are established enough to adopt it in terms of having the confidence for it. So I do think we are a long way off, and I do think we are due a massive retracement for crypto. But in terms of your portfolio, in terms of your coins, I do think if you're looking at holding your coins and we are confirming this bear market, obviously we do need to be setting these lower lows continuously for us to confirm that we are in a bear market. At this point in time, we're pretty undecided, right? As you probably know, in terms of social media, in terms of a lot of YouTubers out there, no one's really stating whether they're bullish or whether they're bearish, because at this point in time, no one really knows, because this could be a pretty big trap. And I don't want to get all the way back to the previous bear market now but what they did last time, they dumped the price like this before the bear market, and then they actually retraced it 100%, right? They traced it near enough 100% before then progressing to the downside, trapping everyone back in, right? So there's something that could be repeating itself there. But in terms of your portfolio wallet, if you are going to be holding, the thing is, we don't know how long a bear market is going to last. It could be 2 months. It could be 2 years. We just don't know. So if you are going to diamond hands it, then you're a brave man. no, then you have to basically... You have to be brave in a sense of not watching your portfolio every day, because you could get seriously depressed, right, if you've got a lot of money in there. So yeah, it's pretty scary times. But yeah, in terms of your portfolio, it will recover in the long run. It will recover in the long run, but it could be 2 years. It could be 2 months. We just don't know how long a bear market's going to last. But seeing this upwards momentum, right, and seeing this upwards momentum, this obviously shows there's a lot of confidence in Bitcoin and a lot of confidence in crypto. So ideal scenario, if we were to enter a bear market, it would be for around 2 months or so, probably over the summer, right? Ideally, it'd be over the summer, and then October, November again, we reinstate this bear market, this bull market, which we jumped into October last year. Yeah, that would be the ideal sort of scenario. But yeah, I wouldn't be. For me personally, it's too stressful holding all my altcoins through a bear market and through all this. I was pretty lucky. Actually, I got out around this point here on the retrace. To the upside here before we actually saw that colossal dump there. But I am holding certain things like ADA and stuff like that, because I am insanely bullish on ADA. I got a little bit of Matic as well. But yeah, so in terms of holding, in terms of your portfolio, you've got to be strong. You got to be strong if we are going into a bear market. You can't be selling at a loss here, because at the long run it will recover. But it's just that question of how long it will take to get to that point. Whether we are going to recover, but it just depends how long it's going to take to recover. Right, if that makes sense, right? Hopefully I gave you a good answer on that. They've rambled on a little bit. But guys, if you've got any altcoin requests, dump them in the chat now, and I will go through. I'll go through and do you a little TA on those altcoins for yourself there. What is Bitcoin doing? It just hit 35.5, right? Just hit 35.5. Just getting a lower low in terms of this downtrend that we got coming through on the hourly here. Okay, sweet. Cheers for helping with that, lol. I guess I'm not looking for a while. Then I bought most of the top just before the crash. Oh yeah, man, a lot of people did, and a lot of celebrities did actually. A lot of celebrities lost a hell of a lot of money, because this is basically what they wanted to do. With this whole bull market going up, there was so much confidence in the market, right? So much confidence in crypto. A lot of people were buying at this point. Like a lot of people who didn't really know that much about crypto and didn't know, because in terms of being having volatile examples, right? There's not really that many in terms of what we've seen here, right? Not really that many at all in terms of what we've seen here. And us OG cryptoers coming out here, we know crypto can dump a hell of a lot in a matter of a few hours, right? Do Doge for a laugh. Yeah, I'll jump on Doge for a laugh in a sec. Brilliant, Kane. But yeah, so in terms of confidence in the market, this is what a lot of the whales and stuff would have wanted to create. And that's, you see, it started trending on social media around all this point here. It started trending on social media around this point here. A lot of the uneducated people, in a sense, started to get in because it was the get rich quick sort of scheme coming through there. And then what happened? The absolute colossal dump off a cliff. And in my opinion, what is going to happen now? Everyone, like, it was trending on a lot of social media, was the crypto crash, because everyone lost a lot of money. What is happening now, in my opinion? We are going to see that retracing the price before we are going to have that continuation lower. We are going to see that the momentum to the upside basically come back to the market, and it's going to get a lot of people bullish again. It's going to get a lot of people bullish again, and then what's going to happen? They're going to absolutely tank it off a cliff yet again, right? That is basically what I think is going to happen, because it's the most likely scenario for them to make money, right? They've seen everyone get in around this point. They dump it, everyone's selling at a loss. They see that confidence in the market coming up again. Oh yeah, I'll get back in now. I'll get back in. I had just sold at a massive loss because I bought up here, but I'm gonna get back in because I see it going up and I'm gonna make those insane gains. No, you're gonna get to this point and they're gonna sell it off again, and then you're gonna basically sell at a loss again, and they're gonna keep doing that until they're basically liquidating everyone. Well, not liquidating everyone, but basically trickling money continuously out of everyone's portfolios. Right? That's their idea. And they're going to make some serious dollar doing that, right? Let me do Dogecoin quickly for Kane for a laugh. And Ivo, I will jump to Matic. I did just see that there, so I will jump to Matic in a matter of time. Dogecoin right now, as I was saying yesterday, right? As I was saying yesterday, I did jump on this yesterday, and we are in this descending triangle, and we have seen that dump to the downside. In terms of a bounce points for Doge on the 4-hourly here, I would be looking at a bounce point at around this 28 cent point. I mean, personally for me, I'm sure a few of you know my opinion on Doge here. I hate Doge, right? I don't like Doge at all. I think it's a bit of a joke. But it is very tradable. I've made money trading Doge because the chart patterns do play out pretty well, in my opinion, right? They do play out pretty well. So in terms of trading Doge, leverage trading and stuff like that, I've made some pretty good money trading Doge, right? I'm not going to be not going to be opaque about that. I'm going to be pretty transparent about that. But yeah, I have made some good money trading Doge there. In terms of a target, in terms of a bounce point, if we are going to dump, it would be that 28 cents there. But if we are looking at a measure move to the upside, if we are looking at breaking this top side of this descending triangle here, and look, if the triangle's descending, we're likely to break to the upside. That's just how it works, right? Depending on obviously where we're going to break along this line, we are looking at a potential uptrend, potential long trade, looking something like this, potentially 24% there. And we know with Doge, it's very possible indeed. All we need is Elon to make some mad, like 3 tweets in a row, and it's going to jump 25%, right? That's just how it works. And I will be taking profit at all these major moving averages coming through, and obviously these horizontal resistance points as well. I wouldn't be taking all my profit, just nice little segments all the way up until we hit that crucial point. Just in case we don't hit that crucial point, I've actually taken near enough nearly said 45%, then near enough like 75% of my trade out at this point. So if we are going to see that retracement, I can close my trade knowing that I'm already in profit, right? I'm in a nice level of profit, and I have basically taken profit out of that trade already, right? In terms of Doge, for a break point, it would be around this point here, but we do have this 21 to get over on the 4-hourly here. In terms of obviously nothing I say is financial advice. Do you do lots of day trading? Yeah, I day trade for a living, bro. I'm more of a swing trader. I don't like to scout, because with crypto you got to look at literally like 50 charts at once. I like to just go through and get the swings, get the 10, 20% there, and basically dissect a trade rather than jumping into it, right? Because it is all about not the fundamentals, but there is fundamentals behind it as well. But referencing all these different indicators and putting all the information together and saying, right, what is the actual probability of that happening? Because there's no indicator that it's actually 100%. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. We'd be rich. We'd be on a yacht, right? Simple as that. But yeah, I do seriously enjoy trading, right? I do seriously enjoy trading, and that's why I do it, and that's why I create this content for you guys. If I can educate you in any way, that's a win for me, right? It's an absolute win for me. And obviously, in terms of trades here, it's not financial advice. It's just a potential trade for you guys to do your own TA on and think about it as well. You should tweet on Musk to get some positive crypto news. Oh god, no, I'm actually sick of him trying to manipulate the market, in my opinion. Yeah, in my opinion, I would like Elon not to tweet about crypto for like a long time. Obviously, if I'm in a Doge trade, then yeah, absolutely brilliant. That's ideal if I'm long. But in my opinion, I don't want him to be involved at this point in time. He's kind of messing it up in terms of confidence in the market. But yeah, he's very good at manipulating the market, and I don't think he's actually aimed to do that. But obviously, his followers and stuff, that's kind of happened from there, right? What was next on the list? Who was next? It was entry on Matic for Ivo, and then it is Volkera. Cool name. Very cool name. Entry on Matic right now. As you can see, we are dumping off a cliff, and we are looking at that support on this 55 moving average on the 4-hourly right now. Unfortunately, we are setting these lower highs continuously, so that does initiate that we are seeing that downtrend play out. If we're looking for a bounce point, it would be this higher low point that we need to get over, and that is around that $1.53. So if we are to see that point there, if we are to see some insane dumps right now, I would be potentially looking at a bounce point at this high low point here. Bounce point potentially looking at coming up to this 55 moving average coming down here, right? So we're potentially looking at a long trade, obviously depending on the price action and a few other things, right? A few other things, meaning the RSI, right? If we're oversold on the RSI at this point, once we have dumped down to this bounce point that I was talking about, this $1.53, it's an indication that we are looking at a nice long position to the upside, because we are going to see that correction of buying power if we do get to that oversold, as a nice example played out here. You're looking at something along the lines of this, and that's basically an indication that we could be looking at a nice long trade to the upside here to bounce off this 55 moving average on the MACD that we've got coming through at the moment. We are in this downtrend, right? We are in this downtrend, and we're pretty far away from a bullish crossover. So that does basically initiate that we are potentially going to come down here, can have the continuation from this trend. And at this point in time, this downtrend that we've got coming through here, it looks strong, right? We're not having any fizzles out, right? There's no fizzles out. In terms of being in a downtrend on the MACD here, we're looking at being pretty strong. So who knows how low it can go? No, it will potentially stop at this point here and probably fizzle out from there in terms of fizzling out like that, and we could potentially see another wave like we have seen here. That basically means it is likely to come down to this this point here. So in terms of an entry, it would be around that $1.53 mark if we are looking to be overextended on the RSI as well. That's Matic for you, sir. Ivo the OG, every day waiting for me to stream. Love it, sir. Saw you there early doors today. Very, very nice to see that support from you there, sir, as well. Very, very nice. I bought billions of shit. Oh, goodness me, sir. You sound just like your brother. Yeah, thanks, man. Very nice to see indeed. Let me do a bit of Telcoin for Volkera there. But yeah, guys, if you're liking the stream, if you could smash that thumbs up, turn that thumbs up blue, helps me out tremendously, right? Absolutely helps me out tremendously in terms of the YouTube algos. Obviously, I've only been streaming like 2 weeks here, so it is pretty hard to get on this get on the algorithms for YouTube, right? But yeah, let me do Telcoin for Volkera here. As I said a minute ago, very, very cool name indeed. We are looking at basically testing this price action channel on the daily chart here. Obviously, we have seen this insane dump off from BTC. In terms of a downwards target, it would be looking at this higher low point that we've got coming through here, and that is around that 0.25 mark, 0.025 mark, around $2.50. Yeah, $2.50 there in terms of a bounce point. If we do lose that, I would be looking at this 55 moving average for a bounce point there, because as you can see, the 55 moving average, this green one here, is pretty dominant in terms of bounces. Right, let's jump back in time so we can see if we can find another example of that. Obviously, it's going to be a bit harder on the daily here. Bounce point, bang, to the moon. Yeah, so in terms of the green moving average here, we do find a nice level of support on it when we do clear it, right? Nice level of support right along it, that sort of momentum, right? So if we are going to see a nice level of support on the daily here for this 55, we could be looking at a potential bounce point here. I can't really see us going much lower than that, but if we do, we do have the challenge points of these higher lows continuously up from this trend to think about in terms of horizontal resistance points. Obviously, they're not going to be as congruent as the major ones that we do have plotted in for the daily, like here, which we do have a lot of correlation along this point here, so that's obviously going to be stronger. But in terms of target points, we are looking at if we are looking at progressing to the downside, we would be looking at bounces off these higher low points. If we are to invalidate them, then we are going to be looking at going lower. In terms of negative stuff for Telcoin right now, we are seeing these lower highs continuously, and we have seen this insane dump to the downside and lost the respect of this trend line coming through here. So in terms of recovery, we are going to need to see an insane bounce off this 55 to start invalidating these lower highs. And at this point in time on the daily here, we're pretty far away, right? In terms of percents, right? In terms of percents for that open to now, we're looking at literally like 20% away from that nice smooth recovery, right? And then we will need to see a higher high in terms of that uptrend from there. So it's not looking good. It's not looking good in my opinion. I would be bearish on this right now, and potentially looking at a target for this 55 at that 0.24 mark, right? Yeah, that's kind of pretty much summed up there on the daily. On the 4-hourly right now, we currently just lost the 200 moving average here. We currently just lost the 200 moving average here, which isn't good indeed. Goodness me, the chat's going really fast, right? Just give me one sec, guys. Yeah, we have just lost this 200 moving average here, so we are potentially looking, if we get a close below that, the next target, as I just said on the daily here, would be this horizontal support point at this 0.026, 2 cent, near enough 2 cent and a half there. We'll be looking at a potential bounce point from there. If we are going to find a nice level of support there, that would be ideal. But as we have just seen on Bitcoin, right, we did have this higher low point that we were looking at finding that support on there, and we just lost it, right? We just lost it. We didn't find that support. We just fell, setting those lower lows in terms of that trend and setting those lower highs continuously, right? So in terms of potential for us holding this zone, well, Bitcoin hasn't held the zone, and I know Bitcoin obviously leads the market here, so it's basically on predication whether we can get there at this point. If we can see that swing coming down when Bitcoin's swinging down, and we can see a bounce when Bitcoin swings up from there, ideal. But at this point in time, I would be looking at a bounce point from this place here. But if we lose this, it is looking like we're going to see that continuation down, and the next target would be this low candle close here, low candle close here at around that $1.09, right? In terms of the RSI right now, we're looking at near enough being oversold here if we are going to see that continuation to the downside and that test of this higher low point here in terms of that horizontal support point. So we would be looking at getting oversold here, and we would be looking at that basically rebounce to the upside. So that is another indication we could be looking at a bounce there, potentially a long position there to think about. If we are going to see a potential position there, we would be looking at a take profit around this 200 moving average here, and that would be looking like something along the lines of this. Nice little 10% there, very, very nice indeed. So yeah, definitely something to think about. Hopefully I've summed up Tailcoin for you there, sir. What was next? Yeah, Shiv's a joke. I'm not gonna do Shiv. I'm not gonna do Shiv, but yeah, I would never buy Shiv. Never buy Shiv. Right? Don't buy Shiv. Right, it's done. Shiv's done. Can you look at Cake if you haven't already? No, I haven't looked at Cake already, bro. I'll do Cake for you now, sir. Gotta love the Cake. At this moment in time with Cake, we are seeing that curl over in the trend. We are seeing these lower highs being set continuously, and we are seeing that dumpage to the downside, right? Pretty much on all charts, it is this higher low point that we are looking to get over. We do actually have a monthly pivot point plotted in here to think about in terms of a bounce. And as I said, it does correlate as well with the same as that Tailcoin that we had going on there. If we are going to get oversold on the RSI there, we could be looking at a bounce point if we do get as low as this horizontal support point, just around this $15.30 mark. Definitely something to think about. In terms of what's happening on the old MACD at the moment, we have entered that downtrend. We have seen that bearish crossover to the downside here. In terms of horizontal support points here, we are looking at around that 0.18 if we are going to get that low. Likelihood we don't get that low, and we basically come to this point here, potentially around there, see this horizontal there, we potentially get to around that point and probably fizzle out, and then we could potentially be looking at a bounce and seeing that bullish crossover on the MACD there. And as you can see, in terms of the uptrend right now, we do have a nice big solid uptrend to go on in terms of a potential new trend cycle if we do see that bullish crossover on the MACD there. When I say trend cycle, I mean along the lines of this, right? The next trend that we see in terms of an uptrend will basically form a basically trend line coming down, and then we know we will be looking at a nice level of resistance on the third trend that's correlating along with that as well. So that's definitely something to think about in terms of if we do switch to an uptrend there on the old MACD for Cake there. In terms of what I think price targets right now, we are looking at a bounce at this $15.35. Obviously on the predication that the RSI does get there as well. Hopefully we can. If we do lose that, if we do lose this high low horizontal level of support at this point, we are looking at basically coming down and testing this volume weighted ATR band at around this $11 here. Not very nice indeed in my opinion. But obviously we do have these levels of support to think about as well in terms of these wicks. We do obviously have a pretty obvious one coming down here where these two have wick to, and we've basically found support and bounced up, so we would see a nice level of support coming through around that $13.64. Obviously I don't think it's going to absolutely dump off a cliff insanely parabolic to the downside. I do see us bouncing around a bit if we are going to get down, basically trapping people in, making us think we're bullish again before having that continuation to the downside. And at this point in time, if we are going to look for that targets to the upside, which at this point in time I don't think is a very good idea at all, we are setting these lower lows in this downtrend and these lower highs continuously coming through in terms of this long downtrend that we've got coming through here. So in terms of having an actual insane recovery in terms of the 4 hour, we would be looking at a nice bounce here. Getting a candle close, looking something along the lines of this here, getting a candle close just above this horizontal support point here, and then bouncing up from there. If we can bounce up from there, we need to have this as a target, this lower high to invalidate. If we can validate that lower high, then it's looking like we are going to be looking at some progression to the upside in terms of a trend reversal there. So crucial point to watch would be that $15.35 there. Right, that is Cake done. Had its cake done, and as you can see, we do have this 50. Well, let me just carry on, right? We do have this 55 moving average coming down here as well, so we are looking at probably finding a nice level of resistance off that if we do see some progression to the upside before we potentially move down again. So there's a few things to think about there with cake. Cake, definitely a few things to think about there with cake, and we do actually have this dominant horizontal resistance line coming down at this point in time because we are actually below it. So we could be seeing some sort of consolidation, and that's definitely something to think about if we are going to see a bounce, because we are going to see a nice level of resistance there as well to think about. Oh, right, so that was cake. Let me jump to, you sound just like your brother. Cheers, Daz. We do have the same voice. Different broadcasting voice, I think. I'm having orders at 80p. Did you say for Matic? Could scoop some at $1.54. Is that for Matic there, sir? Is that could scoop some at $1.54. Yep, that's around that point, around that bounce point for Matic there for Ivo on that higher low point that we do need to break to the downside if we are going to see that progression to the downside for Matic there. How about Cardano today? Let me do a bit of Cardano for Alexandru. Let me see, where are we? ADA, baby. ADA, baby. It's pretty much the same thing on most charts here. It is this crucial point of this higher low here that we are looking to get over here. At this point in time, you are currently challenging the level of support which you've just broken through on this 4-hourly candle, which is sat at around $1.50 there. Ideally, you want to see a candle close above that if you're looking for that progression to the upside. We do obviously have this dominant level of resistance coming down here in terms of a trend line here, downward sloping resistance line. So if we are going to see some progression to the upside, some bounce to the upside, we obviously got a lot of resistance coming through in terms of trend lines, in terms of these major moving averages, in terms of this trend line, and in terms of major moving averages coming down as well. So that's a few things to think about if we are looking at the reversal in the price there. But in my opinion, I don't think we're looking at a reversal in the price right now. As you can see, we're seeing these deep sea dives, these trenches. We're diving in the sea right now in terms of the price, right? We're diving in the sea in terms of the price right now. In terms of a downwards target, it would be this lower high point to look out for, and that is at $1.44. Potential bounce looking at there. Let's have a look at the RSI and see what we're saying. We're going to be potentially oversold if we do get to that point, so that is when we are going to see a potential bounce from that $1.44 mark. So potential position to think about there. Yeah, definitely something to think about in terms of the RSI, not the RSI. In terms of the MACD, we have just had that bearish crossover as well on the 4-hour. In terms of the daily that doesn't correlate perfectly. In terms of the daily for what's happening on the old ADA right now, we are looking at that curl over in the trend, not looking very good at all. We did top out at this insane resistance point, which I was stressing so much about yesterday on yesterday's stream. We are going to see insane resistance from these lower high points here, and I was stressing that across the board. Every single altcoin I was talking about, we are going to see some insane resistance, and we have seen that insane resistance to the downside, right? In terms of percent for that resistance point that we have found, right? That's the wrong tool. In terms of percent for that, we are literally down, literally near enough 17%, which is not good at all, right? Very bullish on ADA for the long term, so that's not good to see in my opinion. But yeah, in target point for the daily right now, I would be looking at getting a nice daily close above the 55 to have even the slightest bit of hope that we are going to see that reversal in the price. If we are to close below the 55, then we are looking at some downwards momentum, right? It's some pretty serious downwards momentum. If you look when we do close below the 55 here, we do see that pretty horrible downwards, and it's the green moving average that we got coming through here. We do see some insane downwards momentum when we do close below the 55. It's not good at all, right? And we do use it as a nice level of support as well. So if we do get a nice level of support on this daily close, that would be hopefully a nice upswing and a nice reversal in this horrible, dirty downtrend that we're currently pursuing, right? Ideally, target for the daily would be to get over that $1.50 mark. That'd be pretty much it for ADA there. Yeah. Same sort of point. It's just a bit somewhere on the short term here. Well, the midterm, we are looking at a potential point here to watch at $1.44 to get down to in terms of a bounce, right? 150 subs today, question mark. Oh, 150 subs today, me. Oh, yeah, God, I hope so. I hit 140, as from Bitcoin Beats there. I hit 140 subs yesterday, so thank you to everyone who subbed yesterday. And guys, I do stream every single morning, Monday to Friday, 1 to 2 hours every single morning. So if you do want to tune in with me every single day, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. You're never going to miss one of my live streams. And also, I do altcoin videos, alt-gen videos. I do emergency Bitcoin updates, potential long, short trades for you guys to consider. Obviously, nothing I say is financial advice. So if you don't want to miss one of them, hit that notification bell, hit that subscribe button, and you're never going to miss one of my uploads. It's as simple as that, right? Let me look at some requests here. Pretty bearish on Bitcoin. Says Sam Childs. I'm still bearish for crypto. I'm still bullish for crypto, Chester. Yes, sir. Cheers, Sam. Means a lot, bro. First time on your stream, but been in your brothers for a while. Could you tell me what the lowest point in ADA today is right. Yeah. So and that is for. That's for Ryan Riley. Yeah, Ryan really Riley. Sorry, man, I can't really say it. But yeah, as I was just saying here, in terms of ADA, in terms of a bounce point, it would be crucial to hold this $1.44 mark. If we're not going to hold this $1.44 mark, I would be looking at a crucial low point of a bounce point at this horizontal level of support at this $1.31 before progressing any lower, obviously depending on where we're going. So I think potential low point of the day, if we do see these dumps continue in terms of percentages, right? In terms of percentages, right, we are going to see from this candle open, we've dumped 6%, right? If we see a couple more of them, we are going to be looking at getting to around this point here. So yeah, absolute low point in the next like 12 hours, I would say, if we are to lose this point here, would be this $1.31 there for you, sir. Can you do pond, brother? Says James McDonald. Yes, sir, I can. Let me jump on that for you. Pond. Pond right now, okay, everything is just dumping, right? Everything's dumping. Bitcoin is at 30. It's just about to tap that level of support at around that 35,200 zone. Hopefully we can get a nice bounce off there. As you can see here, we do have that crucial candle close from that first insane dump that we saw. So the second insane dump that we saw for Bitcoin there. So hopefully we can get a nice bounce off that. And basically progress to the upside, potentially testing this lower high, this higher low point that we got coming through here. Ideally, that's the ideal scenario. If not, we are potentially going to lose that and go lower. Ugh, horrible to see. But yeah, back to pond for you there, sir. I think it was James. Yeah, back to pond there for you, sir. We have just lost the price action channel on the 4-hourly chart here, so it's looking like we are finding some resistance to the downside, right? We're finding some resistance to the downside here. Setting these lower lows continuously, right? These lower highs continuously, right? Setting these lower highs continuously, right? How long have I been streaming? An hour and 43 minutes. Yep, getting pretty tired. But yeah, setting these lower highs continuously, right? So in terms of seeing any type of price reversal here in the 4-hour, we need to start invalidating these lower highs here, and for us to do that, we're going to need to see a curl over, right? We're going to need to see a curl over in the price in terms of this buying power. We need to see a low here. We need to see a low and then a trend reversal, invalidating that low, creating those higher lows all the way up. That would be very, very nice indeed for us. But at this point in time, in terms of targets for the 4-hour, what we're looking at now, it's not looking good, right? It's not looking good. We do have a monthly pivot point at around this 7 cent 6 there, 7 cent 6, yeah, 7 cent 6 there. So in terms of a bounce point, that would be the next bounce point for me. And we do have this next higher low in terms of this uptrend that we've got coming through here. So in terms of the next target to the downside, what you could be looking at is this 0.76 mark. In terms of a bounce point from there, if we do get down there, it's not looking good for the RSI, in my opinion, because for us to even get down there, we've got a lot to go in terms of selling power, in terms of the RSI, before we're looking at that bounce to the upside. So that could mean that we could even get here and only be here on the RSI, right? So that does mean that we're not looking at a crucial bounce off this point, meaning we could actually fall lower than that, right? If we do fall lower than this point here, the next target point would be this horizontal level of support here. As you can see, we do have that correlation here, we do have that correlation here, and we do have a bounce here. So it's looking like around, oh, that's wrong. It's looking like around this point here, around that 0.069 mark for a potential bounce point. And that's when I can see us being potentially overextended on the RSI. And that's when we see the price, we see that buying power to the upside, because obviously the RSI corrects itself in terms of buying power, right? So that's when the price, we're looking at bounce price at around this point. We're potentially looking at seeing some resistance here, some support here, and then potentially falling below it. Obviously referencing the RSI as you go there, sir. In terms of the daily right now, it's not looking very, very good at all. We did see that higher high in terms of buying power. That was pretty much insane buying power to the upside on the daily. Like 4 consecutive buying power days in a row, setting those high highs continuously, setting these high lows continuously. But at this point in time, we have invalidated that the most recent high low here, and we are setting a lower high here in terms of a downtrend, right? Which is an indication we are seeing a rollover in the trend, and we are seeing us basically progress to the downside from there. But as I said, looking for a nice bounce point at that 0.69 mark. Crucial point to watch there in terms of targets for the daily, right? Whew, pretty much pond summed up there, right? Let me have a little look. Oh, Bitcoin's pumping. Yeah, Bitcoin's pumping back up. Nice to see a little bit of recovery in terms of a couple of $100 there. As you can see, we do have a few wicks around here, so there is a nice potential grey area of level of support here to think about. So we could be looking at bouncing around this point, or we could be looking at coming down to around this 35,200 mark. Definitely something to consider, right? Where are we now? What was the last request? Getting so backed up on this chat, guys. It's crazy. But yeah, guys, appreciate all you guys being here. It means a lot to me. Obviously, I've only been streaming like 2 weeks. But yeah, it means an absolute lot. I totaled up all my coins yesterday. I'm feeling pretty good about it. When do I buy back in? At this point in time, Bill, it is pretty undecided, right? It's pretty undecided in the market. And at this point in time, in terms of price action for Bitcoin, it's not looking very good at all, right? It's pretty undecided whether we're in a bull market still or whether we're in a bear market. At this point in time, we are looking at that progression to the downside. As you can see, we are seeing that swing. If we can see a nice bounce, if we see a nice bounce for Bitcoin on around that 34,600 mark, a nice bounce to the upside, that would be absolutely ideal. Testing these lower high crucial points again, can't stress that enough. If we can get over that, then we are going to see some sort of price reversal from there, and that would be absolutely brilliant. But with that being said, right, with that being said, the last time that we lost that bull market, right, in terms of the last time we lost that bull market barrier here on the chart here. Let me just explain this for you guys here. Last time we lost this bull market barrier, we did actually see a massive dump in the price, right? We saw that nice low point, and this is when a lot of people were like, oh God, time to go bearish, right? But you know what the whales did? The whales retraced the price literally 95%, near enough 96% there before having that continuation to the downside. And that's when we saw the actual confirmation of the bear market coming into fruition, right? So we do need to take into account, if we are going to see some insane pump towards the upside, please be cautious. Please be cautious, because it could be a big trap here before we have that continuation to the downside, right? Glad I got that point across there. So yeah, these pumps that we're seeing at the moment, it is good that we're seeing pumps to the upside, but even if we see a pump of 100% to the upside, creating up to this point here, we could see that absolute retracement if we're seeing history mirror itself from before, right? Is it time to buy BTC now? No, absolutely not, in my opinion. I'm not going to be accumulating any BTC now. I'm going to be waiting for a lower point and to see whether this bear market is going to play out, right? Obviously, I'm pretty undecided at the moment, because as that point I just said we could actually see the retracement in the price, and then we could dump down further than that. So it's definitely something to consider right now. But in terms of what I think could happen right now, I do think we are expected for some consolidation sideways period within this 30k sort of region, to let it chill out a bit, let it chill out a bit, because obviously these insane dumps to the downside, we do need these correctionary periods, and that doesn't just work with the parabolic pumps to the upside. If we're seeing that parabolic movements to the downside, we are going to need to see those corrections as well, right? A few things to take into account there with Bitcoin, right? Let me have a look. Can you do ADA, please? I have done ADA like 3 times, I think. But let me just do a brief summary for ADA for you there. Who was that for? Brief summary for ADA there. No, I can't find your name, but I'll do a brief summary for ADA for you there. Yeah, so at this point in time, for ADA on the daily, right, it is pretty much the same scenario that we've got going on here. We have been setting these lower highs continuously, so that is basically an indication that we are seeing that reversal in the trend, that downwards momentum coming through there. Obviously, I've said many times I'm bullish on ADA for everything they're going to be doing in Africa. If you don't know about that, go search Cardano Africa in YouTube. Some great stuff to learn there, basically. At this point in time, daily targets right now, I would be looking at getting over, finding a nice level of support on this 55, which at this point in time, we did test it to the downside, and we did actually bounce, and we are coming up to claim that 149, 150 sort of zone there. If we can get above that, that's going to be absolutely ideal. If we can get a candle, if we can get a daily close above that, we are looking at a nice level of support on the 55. As you can see here, we do have that level of support on this 55 to think about when we get that candle close above it, right? Very, very nice stuff indeed. If we can get above it, we're seeing that nice momentum to the upside, right? If we get below it, right? If we get below it, we're going to see that downwards momentum, right? That downward swing, which isn't going to be good at all, right? And the next target point, I would say to the downside, if we are going to have that continuation down and we are going to lose the 55 on the daily here, it would be this this crucial level of support at this higher low point at that $1.44. So that's definitely a point to watch for the daily if we do have that continuation down and we do lose the 55. If I jump across to the 4-hour time frame now, we are currently testing this horizontal level of resistance, right? This horizontal level of resistance at 55. Ideally for the next 2 hours and 22 minutes, it would be nice to get a nice close above that, and then find a nice level of support there and have that the upwards momentum basically come back into fruition here. That would be very nice indeed. But we do need to take into account, we do have this 200 moving average coming down here. And by the time that we're fizzling out here, we are going to have this 21 coming down here, acting as a level of resistance, right? And if we have these moving averages calling up and we're challenging them, it's likely to see heavy resistance there, right? So it's definitely something to consider. And if we are looking at basically invalidating what we're seeing here, we do need to be getting over these lower highs, which we have been forming, as you can see on this downward sloping resistance line that we've got coming through here. So that's another reason that we are potentially going to get rejected. If we do come up to this point, we're going to find a nice level of resistance there and bounce back down, right? So at this point in time, I wouldn't be that bullish on ADA. I would see some sort of correction in the price happening, which isn't too bad. I hate to say it's not too bad because obviously you are seeing literally pumps of like 20-25% here. So we are needing these corrections. Obviously, this is an insanely big correction, but We are needing these corrections in the price for it to be healthy if we are going to see that continuation to the upside. But key points to watch would be this point here around that $1.50 mark and coming up to test this 200 moving average coming through here. If we're looking at the continuation of the downside, I would be really looking at this point with a lot of certainty, that $1.44 mark. If we can break that to the break that to the downside, we are going to be looking at testing this horizontal level of support here, where we got all these dirty downwards wicks too. At that level is around that $1.40. So some really crucial points to watch here for ADA. In terms of the next 4 to 8 hours, 4 to 12 hours, something along the lines of that. If we see that continuation down, look at these levels of support for bounce points potentially, right? And guys, if you're enjoying the stream, smash that like button up, right? That helps me out tremendously. Turn that thumbs up blue. Obviously, guys, if you are enjoying the stream, that would be amazing, as it does help me out. And as obviously I am a new YouTuber here, I've not been doing this for very long at all. I think I'm bang on 2 weeks in a row now. So this is my second week doing it. So I do appreciate all the support that we've got coming through here. Very, very, very appreciated there. And yeah, if you wanna stream with me, not stream with me, if you want to be here with me every single morning, Monday to Friday, 1 to 2 hours. Minimum 1 to 2 hours, right? Like yesterday I did like near 3.5 hours of this juicy TA for you guys there. But yeah, if you want to do that with me every single morning, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. You're never going to miss one of my uploads. I also do altcoin videos. I also do alt gem videos. I also do in emergency updates in terms of long short positions that to look out for. Obviously, nothing I say is financial advice. Just to give you guys an education standpoint on a position that I could potentially be taking, right? Let me have a look at some requests in the chat there. If you've got any requests, guys, dump them in the chat. Can you please check RSR, please? Let me know what you think about it. Let me know what you think about it. That's for Bob. RSR, did you say? RSR. Yes, sir. Have a little test on that. Let me jump to the daily quickly. Need I say any more? It's all the same, really. It's all the same on the daily, right? But in positive terms, we are still setting these higher lows all the way up. If we lose this higher low point here, around this point, around that 2 cents 2 cents 3 there, we would be looking at the continuation to the downside there. Hopefully we don't see that continuation to the downside, and we hold this crucial point that we are seeing here. This crucial point meaning we do have these higher low points to set here. If we do break this to the downside, I would be looking at the next challenge point of this previous pretty dominant candle close on the daily here, and that is sat at around 0.34 cents, 0.29. Definitely a crucial point to watch in terms of a daily target, right? We don't have a lot of moving averages coming down here. We don't have a lot of moving averages because obviously we have consolidated for quite a while in this period here, so that we need, when we have insane dumps like this, we need to give the moving averages a time to catch up, because obviously they're done on the previous 55 candles. That one's done on the previous 21 candles. As you can see, that 21 moving average is coming down a lot steeper than the others, right? And if I was to get the 10 moving average coming down here, it would look probably something along the lines of this, because it would go over the last 10 candles, right? For you guys who don't really know that much about moving average. In terms of a bounce point, if we're looking for a bounce point at this time, we're looking for that trend reverse, right? We're looking for that trend reverse on the daily. We would be looking to get that close above the point where we're at now, and that is at around 0.34. Ideally 0.35. That would be I guess a good candle close there for that initiation for the momentum to the upside. But crucially, we don't want to break this point here. We don't want to break this this higher low point that we've got coming through here, and this lower low point that we've got coming through here, this previous of this current downtrend that we've got coming through, right? So definitely something to think about on the daily in terms of a target. In terms of what's coming on for the RSR on the old midterm right now, it would be ideal for a bounce here, right? It would be ideal for a bounce here, and as you can see on the RSI here, we're not quite the RSI on the RSR. We're not quite oversold here, so it is an indication that we could be looking at coming down below this higher low point and losing this point here. If we are to lose that point, I would see a next target of being a bounce off this volume weighted ATR band here. Because as you can see, we do find a nice level of support on it here, and that's obviously this thin green line here, or a nice level of resistance there. Definitely something to consider in terms of price action coming down there for the RSR. At this point in time, I hate to say I am bearish for RSR, just because of this price action, these lower highs that are being continuously set here, and obviously this current price action. These candles are pretty goddamn steep, right? They're pretty goddamn steep. So if we are going to see a trend reversal, if we are going to see some lower highs get invalidated here, we're going to need to see some insane buying momentum to the upside. In terms of buying momentum to the upside that you are going to need to see for that, it is going to look something along the lines of this, and that's around like 13% gain there. For that to happen in the next 4 to 8 to 12 hours. It's pretty hard, right? It's pretty hard. Obviously, we do see it with crypto quite a bit, but at this point in time, I am bearish. And I can see us basically losing this point here in terms of referencing the RSI as well, right? As you can see on the MACD here, we have just actually only recently had that bearish crossover to the downside in terms of a downtrend here. So we are potentially looking at coming down a lot lower than that. And that basically backs up what I just said in terms of losing this crucial level of this high-low resistant horizontal support level here. If we are to lose that, we are going to have that continuation of this downtrend coming through here on the old MACD. Definitely something to consider, definitely something to watch, because if we see this fizzling out on the MACD here, we're likely to have some sort of pattern reversal, potentially something looking like that, or potentially further down at this volume weighted ATR band at that price of 0.027. Definitely something to watch for RSR there. And that was for my main man Bob. My main man Bob. Yeah, let me have a look at this is the first guy time watching Chris Chester, but I am subbing. Oh, thanks, bro. It means a lot, Bill. He seems good. I like Bitcoin Hyper and Expert Crypto a lot. 4-5. It's good, but he's always selling stuff. Yeah, I'm never going to be chucking like affiliate links at you guys. I've watched a few YouTubers in my time, and they're just like continuously throwing Femex links and Bybit links at you and stuff, and it's just like, I just want to watch crypto. I just want to watch someone do a TA on altcoins. Like, that's all I want to watch. I don't want to be seeing these ads pop up and all that stuff there. Not for me, so I won't be doing that, in my opinion, right? Let me jump down to some other requests there. I'm pretty behind in the chat right now. Not very good at all. Hey, all the way from New Zealand, bruv. Can you explain that we are looking for a BTC bear signal in the market at this point in time? As I was saying a second ago, we're looking pretty undecided in terms of a bear market right now for Bitcoin. I would be more inclined to be a bear, not a bull, if we are going to come down and see this 30k level once again and set a lower low there. If we are to set a lower low in terms of the daily or we invalidate this higher low that we've got coming through here at around that 31k zone, then I would be switching pretty bearish indeed, because this point, this upwards buying power that we have seen, this retrace to the upside here, that is basically the confidence in the market coming back, and everyone's like, yep, the market's coming back. We are going to see that momentum to the upside. We are going to be smashing through this 43k bull market barrier and switching back to this this lovely blue bull this lovely blue bull market there. Yeah, we would be switching back to that, but if in crucial times right now, I would be looking at breaking this 34,300 sort of zone. 34,600 sort of zone. If we are to break below that, the next target would be invalidating this higher low here. If we do invalidate that higher low there, I would be looking at that continuation to the downside there for Bitcoin, right? Wow, that's a lot. How much did you start with? That's for Bill. Smash the Eddie going under $1. Is it now? Very, very nice indeed. Hopefully, because I'll be buying a hell of a lot more. Oh god, very nice indeed. ETH, please, for Bill. I'm gonna do ETH. A lot of people are requesting ETH here. And sorry guys, I am a little bit behind in the chat here. Never really had it moving this fast, so it's really, really nice to see, guys. Loving all the support there. And guys, if you're liking the stream, hit that thumbs up. Helps me out tremendously. Turn that thumbs up blue if you're obviously liking the stream here, guys. Obviously, I'm only 2 weeks in, so I do have a lot of room for improvement here, guys. But I do obviously massively appreciate your support going through here. ETH on the 4 hour right now, Ethereum on the 4 hour right now, we are looking at a potential symmetrical triangle playing out here, but we did lose this bottom side, and this was obviously in speculation if we were to hold this level here, which I was talking about earlier, I do believe. Yeah, I was talking about this morning, right? If we were to hold this level here, then we would have been looking at a potential symmetrical triangle playing out if we were going to see another move to the upside and finding a nice level of support on this horizontal support line at this 2,500 level for ETH. At this point in time, target price to the downside for ETH would be looking at this higher low point here at 2,386. Is definitely a crucial point to watch there in terms of a bounce point for ETH. In terms of what's happening for the RSI right now, we're looking like we're going to hopefully find support on this downward sloping trend line that we've got coming through here on the old ETH here. As you can see, we did find a nice little support here. That's definitely something to consider in terms of a bounce point. As you can see here, the last lower high that we set here, the higher low that we set here for, so I just had loads of emails come through, right? Last higher low point that we set here in terms of the uptrend for ETH here, we did actually see that bounce off this support line coming down on the RSI in terms of buying power, right? And then we saw that buying power to the upside. Right now, we're looking at that bounce from this support line. If we can get there, and find the bounce, we are looking at a nice bit of progression to the upside, potentially coming and testing this downward sloping resistance line at around this point here, this white line coming through here, right? if we can come up and find a nice support on this level on the RSI here, we would be looking at that progression to the upside and hopefully coming up and testing this downward sloping resistance line. Obviously, take into account here that we do have the 55 moving average coming down as well, and we do have a lot of resistance coming down from the 55 on literally all the charts coming through here. So yeah, definitely something to consider if we are going to come up to the upside. But if we are on the predication that we do lose this trend line on the RSI that we got coming through here, then we are going to basically see a sell-off, right? We're going to see a sell-off, and we're going to be, it's still quite a while before we're oversold here. It's still quite a while before we're oversold. So we do need to take into account here that if we do come down and we do get to this oversold point, we will be seriously challenging these higher low points here. In terms of targets, that is around that 2,386 zone. If we lose that, then I won't be seeing some insane parabolicness to the floor here, because obviously if we do get oversold here on the RSI, we are going to see some retracement in terms of buying power there. And in terms of a bounce point for that, it could be around this volume weighted ATR band here. And as you can see, we do find that nice level of resistance there and the nice level of support there when we do want to find it, right? So ideally, it could be a potential for a long position when we hit the bounce point here, obviously referencing everything else. But at the end of the day, we are going to be smashing through this higher low point in terms of that previous uptrend, previous lovely looking uptrend that we had going on there. If we do lose that, we are looking at coming down lower. And if we do get a bounce from that volume weighted ATR band in terms of a trade for that, we could be looking at something along the lines of this. Obviously, depending on how volatile the market is and what's happening in terms of price action, we could be looking at potential 7, just under 8% trade there to think about. Definitely something to think about, right? But obviously don't be entering if it's, obviously what I say is not financial advice. Do your own research on any trades that I'm saying. I'm not saying go into this trade now. I'm just saying literally that's something you could be thinking about, right? Definitely something you could be thinking about. Right now, on the MACD here, we do have this dominant trend line coming through here, but it's not actually validated yet. So when we do see a bottom side of this trend and when we do see it fizzling out over, we could be looking at potentially plotting out some sort of trend line coming through here. And then the next time we have a bearish crossover in the price there, we could be looking at a nice level of support there. So definitely something to think about in terms of watching this downtrend on the 4-hour play out. As I said, we have only just had that bearish crossover, so we could be a little bit far away from that, and that could basically mean another point where we are going to come and bounce off this volume weighted ATR band. So the stars are aligning in a sense. The stars are aligning in a sense. Definitely a few things to think about there in terms of trading ETH on the 4-hour. Let me have a little look here. What's next? Must hold 1500. Yeah, ETH must hold 1500, right? If it doesn't, then not good at all. Not good at all. We are going to see them downward swings, right? That downward swings. I mean, if it doesn't, to be honest, if we do see that continuation to the downside, for me personally, for Ethereum, I'm going to be accumulating all the way down for the next time we have that insane bull market to the upside. I'll be an even richer man, right? I'll be hella peas. insane money, right? So that's definitely something to think about in terms of accumulation strategy for Ethereum there. Let me look at some other coins there. 160 subs. Thank you very much, guys. That really does mean a lot. Really does mean a lot, guys. Yeah, I'll be streaming every single morning, Monday to Friday, 1 to 2 hours. And so, guys, if you never want to miss one of my streams, hit that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. And you're never going to miss one of my streams. Tune in with me. Do this every single day. Chuck your requests in. I'll do a live TA for you on air, in a sense. Never bought any coin on Fridays yet. Weekends are very, very scary times for trading, especially a bank holiday, right? So, yeah, be cautious. Be very, very cautious, as Wesley says there. And also, obviously, in the volatile state that we're in right now, it's pretty horrible, right? It's pretty horrible. Yeah, I tested. Yeah, it's volatile times, and we usually have some insane traps on the weekend, and it's some insane momentous moves to the upside and the downside on the weekends there. So you could literally get slaughtered, right? You could literally get slaughtered. So yeah, any other requests, guys? Jump those requests in there. I can't really see any at this time. We did ETH. I haven't done Theta for Volkera there. Volkera, let me do Theta. Let me do Theta for you. Can't speak now. Let me just have some more water there. It's looking good, and this is why it claimed. I think it claimed one of my altcoins to watch for the day here. I checked it this morning, right? I checked it this morning, and it's one of the only altcoins that's actually respecting this support line that we've got coming through here from the bottom point here. It's actually one of the only altcoins that's holding its own. It's doing a matic in a sense, right? It's doing a matic, right? But yeah, at this point in time, it's not looking bad at all. We are setting these higher highs continuously. No lower highs being formed here, apart from this small downtrend here. But we are seeing that nice correction, that bounce of that 55 there. So at this point in time, yes, I am. I'm bullish on Theta right now. Definitely looking for a target of around this 200 moving average coming up here on the predication that we find a nice level of support at this horizontal resistance line at 8.1. So short-term target for a price to watch here would be this 8.1 here to get a nice candle close above it. And obviously, as you can see here, we did get a candle close above it here. And we do obviously have this insane point of resistance from this lower high point from that downtrend before. So ideally, we want to get a nice candle close above the previous candle close here, which would be around this 8.34%, 8.33% there. 3%, $3. What am I on about? $8.33. God, getting tired. Just hit that 2-hour mark, right? Yeah, so that would be a nice crucial point if we can get a nice candle close, a nice 4-hour candle close above that. And right now, on this Theta, we are seeing a nice upwards buying momentum, nice levels of support coming through. So yeah, definitely want to watch in terms of going against the trend, going against the market here. We've got Theta performing at this point in time on this daily. We're up 1.32%, whereas everything else is averaging around 10% down. Awful right now, awful. But Theta is just doing bits. We are looking at coming up here. If we are going to come up on the RSI, right? If we are going to come up on the RSI, we do need to take into account if we are going to get overbought, right? If we get overbought, that's looking like it could correlate, in a sense, perfectly with this 200 moving average. So we are looking at potential some resistance there. And obviously, we do have this horizontal level of resistance currently at 8.1 to think about. If we can get over that, and that is crucial to get over these lower highs from that previous downtrend there. Very, very crucial indeed. So yeah, Theta, in my opinion, looking very, very nice indeed. And you can see that continuous uptrend basically it just keeps going, right? Continuous uptrend happening on the MACD there, which is very nice to see indeed, right? Before we see that downtrend coming through, we would be looking for that bearish crossover on the MACD. But yeah, at this point in time, very, very bullish on Theta. And that's the 4 hour. Let's jump to the daily. It's respecting this upwards trend line, as we were saying, is challenging this 21 here. And as I was saying, is challenging these lower highs coming through here. So ideal target does actually correlate perfectly with finding support on the 21 moving average on the daily here. And that is around that $8.40 sort of mark there. If we can get a nice support on that, the next target for me would be this price action channel, would be this 55 moving average. But be aware, obviously, you can see here this green 55 moving average coming here. We do see quite a lot of resistance and quite a lot of consolidation. It's very challenging to get over that 55. But when we do get over it, very, very juicy indeed. Very, very nice stuff happening. And we do see that nice level of support from it when we do get over it. So it's definitely a price to watch at that $9.21 for Theta here. Theta is doing very, very well indeed, right? Let me have a little look. Never buy any coin on Fridays. Why not? Matic. I'll do Matic for you, Bill. Can I request a pump, please? Oh, we all want a pump, right? This is it's dumping off a cliff right now. I mean, Bitcoin's actually recovering near enough at 36K again, which is nice to see, right? Very, very nice to see. I am going to shoot for a break in a minute, guys. A 2-minute break. You guys obviously know I've drunk too much H2O here. But yeah, I'm going to jump for a break, and then I'm probably going to keep going until around 2 hours and 30 minutes. So yeah, I'm probably just going to jump for a break now, and then I'll jump straight back to Matic, right? I'll jump straight back to Matic after that. But yeah, guys, if you want to get your requests in the chat, and I'll jump back onto them once I've just had a 2-minute break there, and I'll see you all guys shortly. Peace. Hello guys, welcome back to Crypto Chester. My name is Chester and today I've been walking you through the crypto markets on this live stream here, going for around 2 hours and 11 minutes. Very good stuff there. Appreciate all the support, guys. If you're enjoying the stream, smash that thumbs up button. Helps me out tremendously. Turn that thumbs up blue. And guys, I stream every single day, Monday to Friday, 1 to 2 hours every single morning. Exception today, gonna go for like 2.5 hours, maybe 3 hours. We'll see how we go in terms of tiredness and stuff like that. Yesterday I did around 5 hours live streaming altogether. But yeah, so guys, if you never want to miss one of my live streams, never want to miss one of my videos, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and you're never going to miss it. YouTube will tell you when I go live. Jumping straight to Matic for... who said that? Who said Matic? That was for Bill Peterson. Bill Peterson. Let's jump to Matic for you there, sir. As we have seen, as we have discussed on Matic, I am on the wrong chart, actually. Let me jump back to my other chart. This is the short term for Bitcoin, right? Let me jump back to this other chart. We were actually discussing Matic at that point in time. In terms of targets for Matic right now, we are seeing these lower highs being created for Matic right now. We're seeing that downwards momentum, right? Downwards momentum, pretty rare for Matic, I must say, because we have seen a lot of upwards momentum for Matic continuously, but we are setting these lower highs continuously. In terms of a target price for Matic to get down to before we see any sign of a sort of bounce here would be that $1.55, $1.53 sort of $1.53 sort of mark there. But we do also have to think about this 21 moving average coming up as well on the daily. This 21 moving average coming up on the daily here, this yellow one here. As you can see, we do primarily find a nice level of support, and if we do find a nice level of support, we could be looking at the momentum to the upside. And we all know how Matic has been behaving in this crazy time, right? We know how it's been behaving. It's been just being abnormal, right? It's been abnormal to all the other cryptos out there, right? So it's just been some crazy stuff. But at this point in time, it's in that retracement zone. It's in that retracement zone, trying to find that support on that 55 moving average as well, which would be really nice in terms of a short-term target for Matic. It would be nice if we can get over that and find a nice candle close. Obviously, we do have this crucial point here to get over in terms of a horizontal currently resistance point to get over there. If we can find a nice level of support on that, then we are going to be looking at some progressionary pumps to the upside, right? If we can, that's going to correlate perfectly with the 55 moving average as well. So ideally, that would be ideal. If we're not going to, and we are seeing this selling power coming through here, which we are at this point in time, we are going to lose the 55, right? We're going to lose the 55, and we're looking at a bounce point at this higher low point here at this $1.53 to think about if you're trading Matic, right? On, I wouldn't say positive side, but on the positive side, if you're in a short, I guess, if you're positive side, you're in a short, I guess, we've got the downwards momentum on the RSI, the selling power coming through here. So we are a little bit away from being oversold here. When we get to that oversold here, it does look like we are going to correlate perfectly with this higher low point here of support, which we are looking at a potential bounce from, because if we do get to this oversold point, we're looking at a potential buying power to the upside for Matic. And I know a lot of people are bullish on Matic, and they're waiting for some juicy entries, because in terms of price recovery, we've seen it just go absolutely crazy recently, and near enough get to another all-time high in the state of the market right now. So we know a lot of people are actually bullish on Matic, and there's a lot of confidence in the market. So I do know a lot of people would be looking at some potential entries coming through here, and I do know a lot of limit orders will be stacked up there in terms of buying power for Matic there. So it's definitely something to think about. Right now, in Matic, we are seeing a pretty healthy, pretty solid downtrend, right? Pretty solid downtrend. No momentum loss here in terms of the downtrend here. No sign of fizzling out and slowing down anytime soon. And that's an indication that we are going to basically lose this 55 and come down and test this level of support at around that $1.53. So it's definitely something to consider, because if that is to happen, it is going to basically mean a continuation in terms of the downtrend on the MACD here. If we do set a low here, that does mean we're going to be setting a new trend cycle there on the MACD there. But if we do see a bit of a fizzle out, right? If we see a bit of a fizzle out coming through anytime soon, and we see some sort of bounce point, or we see us actually claim this 55 again, and we don't lose it, right? We don't lose it in terms of selling power. We are going to see a fizzle out in the trend, right? We're going to see a fizzle out in the downtrend, and that could initiate some sort of a trend line coming through like this, right? And that basically gives us a little edge in the market for the next downtrend that comes through, because we actually have a factor that we could find a little bit of support here. And it basically means that the next bearish crossover that we have on the MACD, it's not likely to be as strong, right? In terms of a downtrend, it's not likely to be as strong, because we do have this level of support here. So it's definitely something to consider, right? If we are later on in life for Matic there, if we do see a downtrend, we will potentially have that level of support to think about. And that is Matic pretty much summed up right now. We are seeing those lower highs continuously. If we are going to see some sort of price correction coming through anytime soon, we would need to invalidate this lower high, the most recent lower high, which we have seen here. And that candle is pretty big in my opinion, right? From open to now, we're looking at excuse me, open to now, we're looking at around that 6%, which is pretty crazy indeed if we are going to see that momentum to the upside. But we all know Matic, right? We all know Matic, it can do that. It can flip around. It can absolutely jump to the upside there. So it's definitely a few things to consider there with Matic in terms of short-term price targets. It would be getting over that 55 and that $1.77 mark, right? Guys, if you've got any requests for altcoins, dump them in the chat there, and I will get onto them ASAP. Rocky. Get onto them as soon as possible, right? Let me jump back to Bitcoin quickly. We are claiming this near enough trying. We're trying for this 36K mark again, but we are seeing these lower highs being set continuously in terms of these candles, right? It's not really looking like a reversal in the trend just as of yet, as we are setting these lower lows continuously. So yeah, definitely something to think about in terms of a low target that we would be looking at, and that's around 35,200 there, as stated in my bio, I think. Isaac, I will jump onto vet for you, sir. In no time at all. I'll just summarize on Bitcoin. If we are looking to pump up a bit to Bitcoin and reclaim that 36,000 zone in terms of a resistance point to look out for would be this 36,581. We are likely to see some resistance off that, but at this point in time, we are actually oversold on the old RSI, and that's why we're seeing the selling power coming to, in a sense, halt the volatility, slowing down a bit, because we need that buying power to the upside to basically level us out in terms of the relative strength index there. Yeah, definitely something to consider. And also, we do have this level of support line, which I was just talking about on Matic there, potential one for Matic there. We do have a nice downward cycle here, level of support line to think about, because as you can see, we do find basically a nice bounce point from this line on the MACD here. So it's definitely a crucial point where we're at right now. As you can see, we are testing it, and the trend is in a sense fizzling out. It is in a sense fizzling out, so that is definitely something to consider in terms of that bullish crossover becoming pretty imminently. But as I said a second ago, we do have this downward sloping resistance line to think about on the MACD here, because if we do see that bullish crossover and we do see that trend coming into fruition here, it could be pretty flattered indeed. It could be pretty crap, right? It could be pretty crap, and it could be literally just like a little spike to the upside, and then we see that reversal in terms of a downtrend. But yeah, a few things to think about in terms of trading Bitcoin right there on the short term. Let me jump across to just a little quick update there. We are literally at 35,800 now. Still falling, right? Still falling, right? Interesting how UCC is going up. Let me have a little look in a sec at UCC. Let me jump onto vet for Isaac. Guys, if you're liking the stream, smash that thumbs up button. Helps me out tremendously. Obviously, a new streamer. I've only been here for literally 2 weeks. 2 weeks today. So thank you guys for all the support. Means an absolute bar. Means an absolute lot to me. Really, really does. Didn't think I'd have. I think I just hit 160 subs, which is absolutely crazy as well. Yeah. So actually, thank you so much, guys. Means an absolute lot, right? But yeah. So in terms of VeChain right now, that's the wrong chart. Let me get to my swing chart for you guys there. VeChain vet baby. Let's go. As you can see here, we are currently testing this crucial higher low point here for VeChain, right? If we do lose that and we don't find if we carry on finding the resistance that we're finding over the next 4 hours or so, or well, it's next 2 hours, right? 1 hour 52 minutes. If we do continuously find that resistance to the downside, we are looking at basically seeing a next target to the downside of this 0.09 cents, right? Very, very interesting stuff there. If we are to lose this higher low, this higher low point here in terms of horizontal resistance point at this time, we would be looking to come lower, right? We would be looking to come lower, and basically these these lower highs that we are continuously setting from the top side of this uptrend here, these lower highs that we're continuously setting here, it's not going to slow down anytime soon, and we're likely to continuously set them and continue this downtrend before we see any sign of any sort of recovery here for VeChain, right? Obviously, it's on the predication of what Bitcoin's going to do, because it is in a sense following that. A lot of the near enough all altcoins are, right, apart from Theta right now. But yeah, at this point in time, yesterday we were discussing this crucial lower high that we needed to get over, and I was stressing so much about the resistance that we could potentially find off this zone, and we did, right? We found that insane resistance to the downside, and now we're sat right down this bottom side, and we're testing these higher lows here. So crucial points to basically hold right now is this point here. Crucial point to hold is this point here. If we don't hold that point there, then it's not looking very good at all. We are going to basically see that progression to the downside, potentially challenging the next horizontal level of support point, which would be around this 0.9 cent mark, and then we've got the 9 cent 2 mark. Definitely a few levels to think about in terms of we could get a bounce there. Who knows at this point in time? But if we do lose this zone, that is definitely potential. It's on the cards in a sense, right? It's on the cards in terms of downward sloping resistance line right now for this for the VeChain right now. We did actually lose. We lost the level of support which we were trying to find there, and that basically means we've got a lot of selling power to the downside right now. And the reason that we're not oversold at this point in time, not the reason we're not oversold, but if we are going to see some buying power to the upside, some bounce power to the upside, we do need to be oversold, right? We do need to be oversold in the RSI. Not always, but mostly, right? It's basically a good indication that we are going to see that buying power to the upside. So at this point in time, if we are going to see that us lose this zone at around that 10 cent mark, then I can see us basically having a bounce point at one of these horizontal support points here. So it's definitely something to consider, and basically watch the RSI to see how that selling power is coming through. Because when we actually get seriously oversold here, which I think we are going to, right? We are going to see that bounce to the upside, and that basically means we are going to bounce on one of these support lines. Consider it here. Consider it here. But yeah. What are your holdings, mate? At this point in time, I'm holding ADA, very bullish on ADA. And what else am I holding? XRP, I've got a bit of XRP. And that's, in a sense, pretty much... No, I've got a bit of Matic as well. Yeah, a bit of Matic. I do have some pretty bad other altcoins as well. But yeah, pretty bad other altcoins that do have insane potential for the long-term hold, right, for the hodl. So I don't really care whether we're in a bear market or what. If the price goes up, down, sideways, nobody knows where it's going to go. Fugazi, all of that stuff. If it goes to the absolute floor, that's absolutely fine. When the technology gets adopted in literally like maybe 5 years, 5-10 years, then we could be looking at some insane gains for them, right? Insane gains for them. One coin that I would say to go check out is Glitch. Some good stuff happening with Glitch there. Some blockchain stuff. They're releasing a blockchain in July, I think, and it's yet to be listed on on Binance Ethereum chain. But it is on the Binance Smart Chain. It's just been released on the Binance Smart Chain, and it did just get put on KuCoin yesterday, I think. Yesterday, I think. So we do have some insane potential there for Glitch. I did actually do a video on Glitch. If you guys want to go check that out as well, it does have some potential pointers on why I've invested in it. And I'm not saying go invest in it. Obviously, nothing I say is financial advice, but it's definitely got some pointers in there on some of the technology that it could basically achieve, right? YCC for Volcera. Yang Chain. That is the right one, isn't it? Yeah, Chinese Yang Digital. I mean, to Bitcoin. Let's do it to Bitcoin. God, it looks a bit pump and dumpy. It's a bit pump and dumpy in my opinion, right? Let's jump to the daily, right? I mean, it has been going down for a significant amount of time. Jesus. A long time, right? It's just been going down. That's obviously the last bull run that we had there. So we haven't really seen some insane recovery for this coin in terms of the most recent bull run here. We haven't really seen some insane recovery. We have just seen it kind of scurrying around, going sideways. Not. I wouldn't say there's a lot of confidence in this market right now. In terms of a bounce point right now, you have pretty much just hit it at this. I'm not going to try and say that number, but this horizontal level of support here. So I would be looking at holding that zone. If you are going to hold that zone, then ideally you want to be progressing up through these major moving averages. Moving averages that are here, but obviously they are currently called up. If you are going to see a pump from there, I would see us basically come up from there, and target price would be around this horizontal level of support. As you can see, we do have that consolidation zone sitting around there, but obviously be careful even holding this, because as you can see here, this here is abnormal price. This is literally just manipulation, right? In terms of percentages, right, it's 85% in the space of literally like a day, and then that insane retracement from there. So it's just manipulation. Probably got pumped and dumped. So yeah, be careful. If you want to be really smart, if you know it's going to get pumped and dumped continuously, you could potentially get some and then put in a potential limit order for like a 200% gain. And then when they do eventually actually pump it, boom, limit order hit, sold, made 100%. Simple as that, right? But yeah, that's for another video, right? Yeah, potential for something going along there, right? At this point in time, I don't really know anything about this coin in my opinion. It's not listed on Blick. It's not listed on Binance as far as I'm aware, and we only have 2 charts for it here. So yeah, it's pretty new. Well, not pretty new. It's just obviously released a long time ago because it was part of the previous bull run, right? But not a lot of confidence in terms of this bull run right now. That's what I'd say. Nice one, Chester. Cheers, Tom. Don't know if you're going, but thanks, man. Means a lot. Any other requests in the chat, guys? I will jump onto them ASAP. Let me do a bit of Stellar, right? I'll jump onto Stellar quickly. Stellar on the daily right now, obviously we do have this sideways continuous rising price channel, which we did lose when we saw that insane sell-off for Bitcoin, right? We did see that insane sell-off for Bitcoin, and that did actually correlate pretty perfectly with, it did actually come back up and test. My phone's going crazy, right? We did actually come up and test the bottom side of this rising price channel here that we actually found a bit of resistance for. Ideal price targets for Stellar right now on the daily. We do have this 200 moving average coming through here. This 200 moving average coming through, which it would be absolutely lovely if we could find a level of support here, and that target price would be at 38 cents there. Definitely something to consider. 10s only. Bro, I'm not doing SHIB. I'll have a look at SHIB chart for you, right? I will have a look at SHIB chart for you, but I don't. It's not good, man. It's not good. But yeah, guys, if you're liking the stream, press that thumbs up. Turn that thumbs up blue. Helps me out tremendously, right? Obviously, I'm new YouTube. Need an extra hand from you guys on those YouTube algorithms, right? Very, very hard to even get into, right? Obviously, it's a pretty crowded space, crypto on YouTube, right? So it's pretty hard for me right now. But yeah, I did hit 160 subs today, so absolutely thank you guys so much. Really, really, really means a lot, right? Really, really appreciate the support. As you can see here, the target price for Stellar right now would be to close this daily candle above this 200 moving average at around 38 cents there. Definitely something to think about. But as you can see, we are continuously setting these lower highs in terms of a downwards momentum. Downtrend coming through here. Next target, if we are going to go towards the downside, would be to invalidate this this candle close, the lowest candle close point that we saw in terms of this downward swing here, and that would basically initiate. If we do get a candle close below that, we would be looking at going lower than that, and then potentially coming down and setting a lower low in terms of a downtrend, right? In terms of a downtrend, and that's not looking very good at all for Stellar, in my opinion, right? Ideal scenario, we would have actually come up and we would have basically gained a nice level of support on this rising price channel that we had coming through here. But as you can see, we didn't. We found that resistance, and we've just basically toppled over in terms of the trend, right? And that's the daily target. I'd say that 200 is pretty crucial right now on this 4-hour chart for Stellar. What we are looking at, we've got this volume weighted ATR band coming through, and as you can see, we primarily find a little bit of support on it there, and we do actually respect it, right? We do actually respect it. Let me jump back in time. You can see it's a very crucial bounce point here. It's a very, very crucial bounce point. Not quite there. I think, yeah, very, very crucial bounce point, and it always will be in terms of a lot of the charts, right? It does correlate perfectly, and we do have one to the bottom side, and that's the green one, and one to the top side, and that's the red one. As you can see, if we are above it, we're riding along it like a wave, right? We're riding that wave along it and basically respecting it all the time. That brings me on to the live price action right now. We did actually see us fall below that, right? We did actually see us fall below that recently and see that colossal dump to the downside, creating that lower low there. But we have seen that insane buying pound to the upside for Stellar in terms of the 4-hour, in terms of the midterm for the old Stellar right now. We are currently testing this volume weighted ATR band. Currently testing it. If we can find a nice level of support now, I can see us basically progressing to the upside from there. Hopefully that is the ideal scenario. Next target, if we do close above this volume weighted ATR band here, we would be looking at a next target of 39 cents. From there, monthly pivot point at around 40 cents there. And after that, we would be looking at that 21 at 42 cents. Quite a few bits of resistance to get through there, but ideally, that's the ideal scenario in terms of a trend reversal there. Obviously, we do have these lower highs being set here. So in order to invalidate the current one, which we have currently set, we would need to get all the way up to near enough this 21 moving average at around 42 there to see a real confirmation that the trend is going to be in a reversal. Insane ideal scenario, we get a massive engulfing candle here, and then we pump to the upside from there. That would be amazing, right? But if we are to lose this volume weighted ATR band and we are to close below that, next target to the downside, which is probably more likely, is going to be this 35 cent mark for Stellar there. In terms of this lower high that we've got, this higher low that we've got in terms of this little uptrend here, that is going to be a point of resistance as well as this horizontal support point that we've got coming through here. Sorry, in terms of it's going to be a support point at this 36 mark, and then another support point at this 35 mark. Definitely something to think about when trading the old Stellar, right? When trading the old Stellar. In terms of the RSI right now, and what we're looking at, we did actually just lose this horizontal support line that we were currently trying to find support on here. We did actually lose that, so we are seeing that selling power to the downside. When we see that selling power return, we are going to find some resistance to the bottom side of this trend line that we got coming through on the RSI here, basically initiating that we are potentially going to be coming oversold. Right, we are going to be coming oversold and having a potential bounce point off this 35 cent 4 mark, right? 35 cent 4 mark. Definitely something to consider in terms of trading Stellar right there. Goodness me. As you can see on the MACD there, we have had that bearish crossover come through there. Pretty flaccid right now. Has the potential to come lower. But in terms of horizontal resistance point right now, you're probably looking at, let me get a better one in there. You're probably looking at something along the lines of this, right? Definitely something to consider, right? In terms of a bounce back, and then we have that bullish crossover. But we do obviously have this this lower low point being created here. So we are looking at a potential lower high point creating somewhere on the old MACD here to see a nice healthy trend cycle looking something along the lines of this for the future, right? Definitely something to consider. And that's for Stellar, right? Let me jump to ICP. ICP, and then I'll do your request there, Ryan. Oh, goodness me, my throat. Oh, very nice indeed. I will only be doing one stream today, guys, because I was streaming for a hell of a long time. Yesterday, 5 hours I think it was altogether. And I've been going 2 hours and a half now today. Very, very good stuff. I'm liking that a lot. I mean, I'm not liking this chart a lot. It's just going down. It's just going down. Crazy, crazy stuff in terms of a bounce point right now. I would be looking at a bounce point to come to the upside for this descending triangle. But at this point in time, it does look like you are looking to break the lower side of this descending triangle that we've got coming through. Let me just draw that in for you for some people who don't really know. In terms of educational purposes, we do have a nice descending triangle coming down here, looking something along the lines of this. When we have a descending triangle like this, we are looking at a break, right? We're looking at a break to the upside, or we're looking at a break to the downside. Obviously, it's descending, so we're looking at a potential break to the upside. That's the most common, but it does sometimes break to the downside as well. If we're looking at a break to the downside, because at this point in time, we are testing the bottom side of this descending triangle coming through here, we would be looking at something along the lines of this in terms of a measure move. We would go on the most recent downtrend there, and we'd basically draw a line from the top to the bottom, bring it down like that. And if we are looking at a trade, we would be entering the trade around this point here. And then we'd be looking at a take profit around this point here, having that completion of that measure move. In terms of percent for that, it would be around a 14% gain there. So definitely something to think about when trading ICP at the moment. I know if we see an insane dump with Bitcoin, it's likely that this trade pattern is going to basically plan out, and it is on Binance. For any of you guys that wanted to do your own research on this trade yourself, obviously nothing I say is financial advice, but if I can educate you guys into a potential trade position that you guys could be doing your own research on and taking your own opinion on it, that would be good for me. It's good for me to do that as well. I enjoy doing that. I like helping people out, right? That's just me. But yeah, if we are going to break to the upside, we are going to be looking at something along the lines of this, right? If we are going to break to the upside, we are going to be looking at something along the lines, obviously on the predication of where we're going to break to the upside. If we do see that upwards momentum basically take course there, it would be looking a measure move along the lines of this. We do have this 21 to think about as well. That's probably the likelihood that's probably going to come down inside of this descending triangle. So we will need to come through and smash through that before we even think about breaking to the upside. But as you can see, we are seeing a lot of downwards momentum from this downward sloping resistance line coming through at the top of this descending triangle coming through here. We are seeing a lot of downwards momentum. So that is an indication that we are going to see some more downwards momentum and potentially lose this 21 moving average coming through here. In terms of good news, right now we're nearly oversold on the RSI, so that basically means that we're going to have a nice price retracement potentially to the upside there. At this point in time, short-term target, I'd say for the 4 hourly, we would be looking to come up and reclaim the bottom side of this descending triangle here, and to reclaim this horizontal resistance point at 122. Ideally, we want to close at 123, 124. That would be ideal to see some potential reversal in the trend there, because as you can see, we are setting lower highs continuously, so we do need to invalidate a few of them if we are going to be looking to see that momentum towards the upside. That's ICP pretty summed up, right? On the there's not enough information to do anything on the 4 hourly, right? If I jump to the hourly, see if we can get anything from that. That's pretty much the same thing, right? Pretty much exactly the same thing coming through here. Yeah, there's not really a lot to say about it. It's the same sort of thing. Measure move's looking up. Measure move looking up something along the lines of that in terms of percent for that measure move. I don't think I did a percent for that measure move. Yeah, in terms of percent for that measure move, you would be looking at a nice 21% gain, potentially correlating perfectly with this 200 moving average coming down here. If it wasn't going to correlate perfectly with this moving average, I would be looking at a take profit around this point here, because we do know the resistance off this 21 moving average is pretty big, right? It's pretty big, and it's going to be around a 14% trade there for something to think about if we are to break to the upside, right? Obviously, as I said, on the 4 hour chart here, we do have this 21 moving average coming down here. On the hourly chart, we do have the 55 coming down here, which is this green one, which is the 55 moving average, which is the more dominant moving average out of a lot of them, right? Not the 200 EMA or SMA, but it's still the most dominant moving average out of all of the other ones. In terms of the 21 and the 10 and the price action channel we got coming through here, we are likely to find a nice level of support on that on the hourly chart. So if we are to come up, we do have these insane moving averages coming down to think about, right? Definitely something to consider. In terms of ICP, there are a few big drops on SHIBs. Let me jump to SHIB for you, because you did request that before, Ryan, and then I'll jump to school, please, bud, or school PLZ. And BUD. Let me jump to SHIB for 10s only there. SHIB. God, I hate this chart. Yeah, so what's your question, bro? What's going on? What are you saying? My guy? But yeah, guys, if you're liking the stream, smash that thumbs up button. Helps me out tremendously. Obviously, new guy on the block, need that help with those YouTube algos out here. I do seriously appreciate do seriously appreciate it, guys. Hit 160 subs earlier. Absolutely outstanding. Very happy. Very happy indeed. I can't express that enough. In terms of SHIB right now, it is just going down. It's just going down. We did see a bounce. We did see a bounce off this low point here. In terms of horizontal support point, that's where I'd be looking for your next target to the downside. In terms of these upward swings here, this is literally potentially just FOMO, uneducated people into the market, right? I'm not saying you're uneducated, bro, but I'm saying like it's just this coin, right? You just don't buy this coin. Just don't buy this coin. You're just gonna get wrecked. You're just gonna get wrecked. I know it's nice having millions and billions in your portfolio of a certain coin, but this, in my opinion, it's never going to do anything because the supply of this coin is literally like, I swear it's in the trillions or something stupid. So yeah, so I just think we are going to go down from here. If you're looking at a bounce point, if you're looking to trade this, you would be looking at a bounce point at this horizontal support point here at 0.000000704. But yeah, at this point in time, we would be looking at just going down. We are setting lower highs continuously, so it's not looking like we're having any trend reversal anytime soon, in my opinion, right? RSI, we are pretty overextended to the downside there. So we're looking at a potential trend reversal here, but obviously we are on the hourly, so it's not going to be for very long indeed. Let's jump to the 4 hourly for you there. Just wondering, is it just a dump game on here? This coin is just going to go down, in my opinion, now. It had all its hype, and now the people getting in now, it's just going down. It's literally just going down on them, and they're just like, oh, what do I do? What do I do? So in my opinion, if you want to trade, if you want to actually get into crypto properly, get the hell out of SHIB. Get the hell out of SHIB and just do some research and trade some more established coins, right? Trade some more established coins. I know you're potentially looking for those really quick good gains, but you're not going to get them with SHIB, right? You're not going to get them with SHIB. You've got more chance with Doge, and I hate Doge, right? You've got more chance with Doge because Doge is a lot more established, and I hate to say it's a lot more established as a meme coin, right? But you are likely to get more gains with Doge. I've made quite a few gains with Doge actually in terms of trades because it's pretty tradable, right? So yeah, in terms of gains for Doge, I would be looking at a potential entry for yourself. Obviously, nothing I say is financial advice. It's just my opinions on what I think could happen. If we lose this volume weighted ATR band, we could be looking at coming down to this 200 moving average here at around that 16 cents there, and that would be a great accumulation point for Doge there. I don't think Doge is done, in my opinion. We have seen his insane buying power to the upside, and that basically comes when we see all the FOMO, everyone's talking about it, all the retail people are talking about it, the members of the public, they start talking about it. I can't tell you the amount of people have asked me about Doge, like my friends and stuff. I'm going to buy Doge. Like, right, okay. But yeah, so if we are going to be looking at another pump swing like this, we have had that consolidation period, which is healthy, right? Which is healthy. So I'm not saying Doge is out of the water yet. I still think it's I think it's 6th or something on CoinMarketCap now, but it's not out of the water because it's still one of the biggest cryptocurrencies out there in terms of market cap, in terms of investment, right? So we are potentially looking at another upswing to the upside, right? If the word goes around again that everyone's buying Doge again, it was basically going to surge the price and create all that FOMO again. So 10's there if you do want to make a quick buck. If you don't want to make a quick buck, you're going to have a better chance doing that with Doge than you are SHIB, right? I know the gains are already pretty much done because of the price that it was at before. Because of the price it was at before. But you're still going to make better percent gains than you are going to be doing with SHIB, and you are going to be losing with SHIB. In my opinion, I don't think SHIB's very good at all. What was next? I need to do SKL for Ryan there. And guys, if you're liking the stream, I nearly typed in Ryan there. SKL. If you're liking the stream, smash that thumbs up, turn that thumbs up blue, helps me out tremendously. Hello there, NX. Nice to see you back on the stream there, bro. He's returning guy, returns to me every single day. Loyal out here, my G. Let's do a bit of SKL right now. On the daily, obviously, you can see we do have this pretty dominant trend line coming down from the top side, right? Pretty dominant trend line coming down from the top side here. So if we are going to break to the upside here, we are going to be looking at having a nice bit of resistance off this point. As you can see, we do have heavy levels of resistance continuously at this point here. So crucially, right now, I would be looking at basically coming up and finding a nice level of support right now on the daily on this 21. If we can get a 21 close above this 21 moving average that we've got coming through here, Ryan, then it would be ideal to get some sort of price action to the upside from there. In terms of invalidating out this lower high here, we would be looking at a 15% gain there on the daily. So it's pretty unlikely at this point in time, but on the positive side of things, we are from this lowest point here, we are still setting these higher lows continuously all the way up. Granted, we've invalidated one here, but we're still setting one here. As long as we don't start invalidating ones down here, that's when we know we're going to see that insane trend reversal on the long term. at this point in time, we do still have time to see that retracement to the upside. But crucially, you do need to get a close above that 21 before that to happen. So yeah, price-wise, that would be around 46 cents ideally. That's probably the minimum. Ideally, you want it to be around 48, 49, that sort of area, right? And then your next target is that 55 moving average, that gruesome one there. And then we can talk about the chances of us breaking through this pretty dominant downward sloping resistance line there, right? In terms of chart patterns, right, it looks pretty broadening wedge in my opinion, right? Pretty broadening wedge coming through, and I don't like broadening wedges. They're pretty awful to trade, and I don't like them. I just don't like them. So let's delete that. Let's delete that. Yeah, I don't like that at all, right? And I deleted my main indicator, right? Brilliant. Well done, me. Yeah, so that's the thing on school right there. That's the obviously the daily. Let's jump to the 4 hourly right now. Obviously, this downwards momentum coming through here. That downtrend that was obviously done through the crypto crash there. Sorry, getting pretty tired now. Just give me 1 sec. Oh god, right. Back in the game. Right, as you can see here. Here. We have come down. We have tested the 55 moving average on the midterm here. Currently testing this. Currently come down, and we tested the support on this horizontal support line at 42 cents there, and we have bounced up from there. Ideal, same scenario as the daily here. We do need to find support on this 21 moving average that we got coming through here, and also that correlates with this horizontal resistance point at 46 cents there. So if we can get a nice level of support on that, that's going to be ideal. Next target for you there is that 200 moving average at around that 49 cents there. And as I said on the daily there, we do need to start invalidating these lower highs which we're continuously forming here to basically, if we need to keep invalidating these lower highs to basically see that trend reversal coming through here there. But in terms of price action right now, it's not actually too bad in my opinion, because obviously you've seen this insane pump to the upside, right? Near enough parabolic. If we go from the lowest point of the trend there to the top point, you're looking at 123% there in terms of that candle close at the top there. So if you're seeing a gain like that, right? If you're seeing a gain like that, you are going to need some sort of retracement. Granted, it's not nice to have a retracement of like 30%. It's not nice at all. But in terms of like percentages to the upside there, you need some sort of consolidation. You need some sort of backwards momentum to even contemplate and even think about having that next leg up, right? So in ideal scenario, you find support on these major resistance points that you're currently testing at this point in time. You get over this 200 as well, and then this lower high that we've got coming through here on the last 4 hourly candle there, and then we could be looking at some potential gains to the upside, and then target after that would be around that 62 cents there. In terms of all-time highs, you're looking at that over here around $1. Close was around $1.09, I do believe. You probably know more about this than me, but yeah, that's the all-time high at 124. So that would be a good target to get. Good target to get, but as you can see, we are still quite away from it, and we're not going to see some sort of parabolic run up. So it's a patience game in a sense, and we do have this volume weighted ATR band coming through as well. So we do need to find a nice level of support from there before we even talk about getting a new all-time high here. And this is all on the predication that Bitcoin holds its own, right? That Bitcoin holds its own and doesn't fall off a cliff, because obviously it's going to drag the alts down with it, right? Now, if we are going to lose the momentum towards the downside here, if we are going to lose this 55 moving average that we have tested, and we are going to lose this horizontal level of support at 42, I'd say the next target we are looking at, God, it's pretty hard because these are pretty parabolic candles here. We could even be dumping down right to this point here, right? And that is sat at around 34 cents. Kills me to say it. If you are bullish on this coin, we could be coming down to this 34-cent mark, and we could be looking at a bounce from there. Another bad thing right now, we are pretty central on the RSI in terms of the midterm for this SKL coin here. I'm going to call it skill. We are pretty central on the RSI here, so we could be looking at a move to the upside or a potential move to the downside, and it's pretty hard to tell what we're going to do right now, because if we were ever bought here, we would be looking at that correction. If we were ever sold there, we would be looking at that correction to in terms of that buying power, right, and vice versa in terms of that selling power to the upside, right. So at this point in time, pretty hard to say. If we are going to get to that, if we are going to see some dumps, and we are going to see us lose the 55 and come down and test this level, that's when I'm going to say we're probably going to be oversold on the RSI there, and that's when we're looking at a potential bounce. That basically correlates perfectly with a potential bounce from that point at around 35 cents there. But definitely a place to watch right now. If you can clear this 21, then there is hope for you, sir. There is hope for you, sir. Now let me have a little look at what's going on the chat. What was next? One harmony for Bilgun. One. What an insane mic. I absolutely love it, right? Yeah, hopefully the sound quality is good for you guys. I had someone say yesterday that it was actually cutting out quite a bit. So let me know in the chat if it was. How long did it take you to learn charts? I've actually only been trading for a year and a half out here, guys. A lot of traders have been going for like 10 years and stuff like that. I've only actually been trading for a year and a half. I mean, I'd say if you are looking at getting to a trading standard of mine, I would just sit down at a chart every day for minimum half an hour, and just practice different TA techniques, right? Practice different TA techniques. You do that for a year, you're going to be speedy. You're going to be recognizing chart patterns. You're going to be getting all this good information and getting that edge when you're doing those trades, right? Getting that edge when making those money, and you basically make more money, right? The more edge you have, the more money you make, right? Let's go to One Harmony right now. Big dog, yes, Eddie in the chat there, my guy. How are you doing, sir? Yeah, so that's a question answered. Lethal Mind there. Let me do a little bit of TA on one for you there, Bilgun. As you can see here, we are setting these lower highs continuously, right? Setting these lower highs continuously. And for the daily target right now, I would be looking at holding this horizontal support line here, which we did see a nice bounce off from before, right? We saw a nice bounce off from before. If we can find that, if we can hold that within the next 13 hours and 24 minutes, then it's going to look very good indeed. It is actually dumping as I'm talking right now, so it's not looking very good for the daily. If you are to lose that on the daily, right, the next target to the downside would be this 8 cents mark. Potential bounce points from there. In terms of the RSI right now, let's jump on that. This is a downward sloping resistance line from a shorter time frame, so we'll see if we can find that in a second, right? But yeah, in terms of targets right now for the daily, I would be looking at getting a close above this horizontal support line. But yeah, obviously we do have these insane moving averages coming down as well. So if we are going to see a reversal in the trend, if we do see a close above this horizontal support line here, well, currently resistance. If we do find support on it finally on the daily, if we do get a daily close, we could see a reversal in the trend, potentially coming up and testing this 21 moving average coming through here as well. But in order for that to happen, congruently, we do need to actually invalidate this lower high that we have coming through here. That would be ideal, and that's basically the confirmation that we are going to continue up from there, right? Definitely something to think about in terms of targets for the daily there. If we're looking at the 4 hour there for One Harmony, same sort of thing in terms of this horizontal level of resistance which we're currently testing. And we do obviously have these major moving averages coming down as well, right? These moving averages, they're not quite at the price action just because we had this consolidation period here. So obviously these moving averages are measured over the last previous amount of candles. We have this consolidation period here. So that basically gives if we see a dump like this, right? If we see an insane dump to the downside like this, we need to give these moving averages time to catch up, right? Because it's not done. Obviously, you see this 21, this 21 moving average coming down here. It's done on the last 21 candles, right? So we see these 21 candles, say that the most percentage of them is coming down. It's going to bring that moving average down as well. But this 200, right? That's done on the last 200 candles. So obviously, there's not that much downwards momentum in the last 200 candles. So that's why we are going to need a lot of time for it to catch up. A little bit of education there in terms of moving average for you guys who don't, in a sense, know about them there. And they're very, very crucial. Very gruesome, very, very crucial in terms of support and resistance points there. Very good to ride along. In terms of targets for the 4 hour, the midterm for one here, I'm just gonna have some H2O here. Sound is good, dude. Thank you very much, Tom. Very good to know. Yeah, it was worrying me quite a bit that it was cutting out. That was a bit sucky, right? A bit sucky that it was cutting out. In terms of short-term targets, right now, as we are setting these lower highs continuously in terms of this downtrend which we're currently in, and we did lose all these major moving averages coming down here. If we do get a 4 hour close below this horizontal resistance point, which we're currently testing here, the next low point, I hate to say it, is down here with this volume weighted ATR band, right? It is down here. We do have potential for a bit of resistance at this point here, where, as you can see, last time we jumped down, we had this wick here. So I'd say next short-term target wouldn't be this low point here. It would be around here. And that's around that 8 cents 4-4. I wouldn't say there's enough congruent information here to be looking for a bounce there. I would say it could potentially just slow down the downtrend that we've got coming through here. Maybe a bit of consolidation before following us down even further, right? In terms of holding their own, I do think Harmony is going to hold its own right now. Because obviously, if we do get down to this point here, potential long position, as you can see here, this insane wick to the downside here. That's obviously insane buying power following with it, right? And exactly the same happened here, right? Insane buying power with it. So in terms of a long position, for me personally, I would be looking at a long position from around that 6 cents up, or a potential insane accumulation point if you are one for the hodl in the old one there. In terms of take profits for that, I would be looking at taking a bit of profit at this point here if we are to continue to the upside there. And then potentially up at this level of resistance here at around that 30, around that, where are we there? around that 9 cents 34 mark, right? 9 cents 34 mark, and that would look very juicy indeed in terms of a percent for that trade, right? Any requests in the chat, guys? Smash them in there. Let me have a look at labs for NX there. You think USA will start selling when they wake up in a few hours because of a long weekend? Potentially, bro. Potentially, bro. It's definitely something to think about for when the Americans actually wake up, right? Definitely something to think about. I would be looking for that that stock market open, right? I would be looking for that stock market open in the UK. I think it's around 230 there. So definitely we did see some, and that's basically what happened when we saw this insane price sell off, right? This started when the stock market opened, right? So we definitely need to think about that and definitely need to see that. And obviously it is a weekend. It is a long weekend as well, bank holiday. So people will be selling and there's going to be some price action there to think about, right? Definitely a fundamental to take into account, right? Let me have a look at labs for NX. Labs for NX. Thanks, Chester, brother. Not a problem at all, Ryan, my guy, OG out here. Here for like 3 streams in a row, I do believe. Very good to see, man. Really do appreciate your support. And guys, if you're liking the stream here, smash that thumbs up, turn that thumbs up blue, helps me out tremendously. And guys, I stream every single morning, Monday to Friday, 1 to 2 hours. At this point in time, I'm nearly been going for 3 hours, right? Nearly been going for 3 hours, 2 days in a row. I did like 5 hours streaming for you guys yesterday. But yeah, so guys, if you never want to miss one of my streams, never want to miss one of my uploads, I do altcoin videos, cryptocurrency emergency videos, potential long, short trades for you guys to think about. Obviously, nothing I say is financial advice. Hit that notification bell, hit that subscribe button, and then I will see you in my other videos there. Let me have a look at Labs Group here for NX. Obviously not on Binance yet. It is on KuCoin, as you can see here. Not that much going on. It is looking pretty bad in my opinion. Obviously we have had that upward swing from that crash that we had there, but since open it's just been pretty colossal down to the downside, right? It's just going down, right? It's just going down. I can't really see it going up anytime soon in terms of a pivot point for it going up. It would be this low point here. In terms of a target for the low point here, it would be around this point here, around that 0.009 there. Not good at all. Not good at all in my opinion. Ideally, if we were looking at some sort of price reversal here, obviously we do have this insane buying power, but this is basically going to come with everyone investing back into crypto once Bitcoin basically bottomed out, right? Everyone's going to be dumping all their money in all the coins if they're looking like they're going to make some quick gains, right? And that's obviously what happened here, bringing the price up before it was already in that insane downtrend, right? We weren't seeing any real price reversal, maybe some pump and dump sort of action coming through here in terms of market manipulation. But at this point in time, if I was looking for another leg up, it would have been if we were holding this crucial zone here, right? If we were holding this crucial zone here at this higher low point here, at this 21 moving average that they have that we had coming up here. If we didn't break that and we held a nice level of support at this 1 cent 59 there, 55, sorry, 1 cent 55, I would have been looking at another leg up from there, another leg up from there, another leg up from there, and then potentially testing the 21. But as you can see here, we have lost that. The downwards momentum is there. The lower highs are being continuously created. For me, it's a no-go. Obviously, make your own mind up on that. But yeah, I wouldn't be getting in that anytime soon. Potentially, if you've got a nice fundamental behind it and you've done your research there, because I know some of these coins, they're obviously overpriced when they first get released, and you do see some come all the way down before seeing that momentum to the upside there. Then if you've got the fundamental information behind you, then accumulation point I would be looking for around this bottom point here at that 0.009 as stated there before, right? Let me have a little look. Hate Doge as well, but it just picks them up. Hopefully the Coinbase listing will pump it. Yeah, I definitely think it will pump it, bro. I don't actually know when it's going to get put on Coinbase. If you know that information, that'd be really good for you to jump in there, Dave. Yeah, it'd be really nice to hear that. And yeah, I definitely do think that Coinbase listing will pump it. Let's jump back to Doge quickly. I do think it definitely will pump it because obviously, quite hard to say this, but a lot of the people who don't, in a sense, know how to trade TA properly, they more trade the fundamentals of crypto. They primarily use Coinbase, right? They primarily use Coinbase, and the more sort of established traders use like Binance and more established exchanges like that, right? It's a lot easier for in a sense someone who's not as educated to trade crypto using Coinbase, because you can literally just press buy and sell insanely easily with no limit orders and that sort of stuff there. They have actually released Coinbase Pro. Yeah, I haven't actually had a look at that. I'm more of a Binance guy myself, obviously, no paid promotion and stuff there. Let me jump onto another coin now. What software are you using here? Here in this software right now, this is TradingView, right? Pretty common trading platform here. I do have obviously a lot of indicators that I use there. If you're looking for free indicators, I would be inclined to show you There's automatic support and resistance by this guy here, Get Mossin. This is a free indicator that I use, and it basically plots out the levels of supports and resistance for you automatically on each time frame, right? It's very, very handy indeed. Basically does the tops and the bottoms, and you can actually change that indicator planning out the tops and the bottoms of the candles, right? Yeah, source, close candles, all the highs and the low, right? And that basically plots out the supports and resistance at the wicks, right? Instead of the candle close. I prefer it the candle close. I think it's more we get more, it's more congruency in terms of price action there. But yeah, in terms of a free indicator, that is one that I use there. And other ones that are free, we got this RSI coming here, and that's the relative strength index. That's basically the buying and selling power of what's happening in the market, right? If we're going down here, we're oversold, right? And we're looking at that buying power to the upside. If we come to the top side here, we're going to be overbought. So we're looking at that selling power to the upside. It's a great indication of where the trend is going to, in a sense, come to an end, and vice versa. We do have the MACD here, and that basically says when, it's not a very good example on the 12-hour for Doge here, but yeah, it basically says how strong the trend is, when this trend is fizzling out, and when you can see some sort of reversal, basically plotting out the tops of the trends there as well. So that's a couple of free indicators that I use, which you guys can go get your hands on if you don't use them already. And there's plenty more indicators out there, like plenty. If you just look at my favorites, right? I use loads of different indicators. Volume's very, very good as well, and visible range. So yeah, definitely a few to look at. There in terms of free indicators for you guys to use to improve your trading ability, right? Now, let me look at... I am going to end this stream in 3 minutes time, guys. We are going to be hitting that 3-hour mark. Let me just jump onto Rune quickly, because I did do a video on Rune yesterday. I was looking at a potential head and shoulders pattern coming through there, and a potential long position all the way up to 20. But unfortunately, we didn't see this crucial break here. We didn't see this crucial break of this lower high in terms of a horizontal resistance line here. We had it something along the lines of this, right, around that $14.40 mark. If we were looking at that, if you did catch my video yesterday, my emergency long video for Rune there, we would have been looking at a potential trade all the way up to the other side of the left shoulder here. Let me draw that head and shoulders pattern for you guys there. We're working at left shoulder coming down. We got the head coming down here, right shoulder coming up here. Oh yeah, I suppose it still could do it if this is going to be congruent to this downtrend instead. But I was going off here, and we were looking at progression to the upside if we were going to find a nice level of support at this $14.65 mark. That would have been very, very nice indeed to see. And in terms of percent for that trade, it would have been absolutely very, very juicy indeed. 40% there. Very, very nice indeed. In terms of Rune right now, we are seeing that downtrend coming through pretty strong, right? That downtrend is coming through pretty strong indeed. 1 second, sorry guys. That downtrend coming through pretty strong indeed. As you can see, those lower highs being set continuously. We have actually lost the respect. we lost the support that we were trying to gain on the 200 moving average coming down here, and we basically found a lot of resistance here. We found a lot of resistance to the downside here, and now we are challenging. Well, we've challenged and smashed the major moving averages, the 55, the 10. Sorry, not the 10, the 21, and the price action channel coming here. And if we lose that price action channel, that's when my candles turn red, and that basically signifies that we're going into a downtrend, right? Lowest point, well, not the lowest point, the next target point for the low would be this level of support sitting at around $10.87 there for Rune. I am bullish on Rune still. I do think there's a lot of potential there, but at this point in time, it's not looking that great for the short term, right? For the short term, in terms of if we do lose this level of support, I'd say the next target would be this higher low point that we've got coming through here, and that correlates with quite a few different wicks, quite a few different candles, this consolidation period that we had coming through here. So I would be looking at a potential bounce from there. Obviously, depending what the RSI is saying. Obviously, we do have this we do have this downward sloping resistance line coming through on the RSI here, which we did actually lose the support on, right? We found the resistance and we saw that selling power, right? We saw that selling power to the downside, and that's basically another reason why we have dumped off here. I was looking for that support, and I did mention that in that video. If we were to find that support there, we would have been looking at a potential nice long up to that $20 Rune there, but we didn't. We fell off the cliff, fell into the sea, fell off the pier. And now at this point in time, if we do get to that oversold point on the RSI, we would be looking at a potential bounce point, and that could correlate pretty much with this low point that we've got coming through here at $9.70. So potential position if we are going to bounce off there, obviously managing where we are on the RSI from there. And also just to say, we have only just had that bearish crossover on the MACD there, even though we have that insane selling power to the downside, that insane resistance from that 200 moving average. So that could basically mean we have a long way to go before we even fizzle out that trend there, potentially correlating perfectly with that bounce point as well. So that's another point to manage on the old MACD there. that's basically the stream summed up, guys. I think I'm just going to touch on Bitcoin for all you Bitcoin fanatics out there. Yeah, I'll just do a little quick update on Bitcoin. I will be coming out with another video today. Yeah, I will be coming out with another video today because I love creating content for you guys. No, definitely I will. But guys, if you're liking the stream, smash that thumbs up button. Helps me out tremendously. I've really enjoyed myself today. It's been absolutely amazing, and I thank you all guys for being here. Hi, I'm late to the party. Hello, Ferry. Do you think the dip we're seeing overall is healthy? And can you, if you look at the big rise since the previous crash? Yes, I did have a look at the big rise from the previous crash in terms of the previous bull market we were in, right? The previous bull market we were in, we did actually have near enough 100% correction, right? And this is why people really need to be have some serious caution, right? Some serious caution. This is the live price from February 2018, right? This is why we really need to be cautious when trading this point, because obviously you can see here the correction from when we actually lost this bull market barrier here. We had to correct literally 93% of the way up before we saw that continuation to the downside. Now, if we're thinking about even getting near that sort of correction in terms of live price now, that just messed it all up. In terms of live price now, we would be looking at a correction looking along the lines of this, right? And this is why I was pretty nervous coming up from this low point that we had going down at 30k. If we can draw some sort of percents from that 30k, the absolute low, to where we are now, sorry, that's still only 20%. That's still only 20%. If we're looking at literally a 93%, which we were looking at in terms of mirroring previous history, we're looking at coming all the way back up to 58k, which is just absolutely insane. If we were to come up to 58k there, I can tell you for a fact, and that's, sir, it's a fact, a lot of people will be going bullish, right? A lot of people will be going bullish, and it does have the potential to reverse from there. It still has that potential to reverse from there. So be wary if we are going to see the whales copying the patterns from last year. It would be pretty obvious in my opinion, but I haven't really heard it from that many people in terms of what's going on here, in terms of Bitcoin, in terms of that trappy zone. We're just, at this point in time, everyone's just waiting for these zones to be cleared, and then they think we're in the clear. But if we are going to see that 93%, I think it was, we are going to see that 58 zone resistance, and then bangs it down from there, trapping everyone out. Thanks, Chester, brother. I will definitely be back, bud. Thanks, Ryan. Nice to see you, bro. I see you return to the stream. Actually, it means a lot, man. It means a lot. Really, really does. Yeah, let me just, what was I saying? Let me do a little brief summary on the old Bitcoin right now on the short term. As you can see here, we did dump down. We are seeing a retracement in the price in terms of buying power, in terms of losing the momentum towards the downside here. As you can see, we have set potentially in the next 8 minutes on this hourly, we are going to be setting a higher low, which is an indication of a trend reversal, right? Indication of a trend reversal. Ideal point to cross here is this lower high. If we can invalidate this lower high, then it's looking like we are going to see some reversal from there. But we do have an insane amount of resistance coming down from that point here. Obviously, you can see this downward sloping resistance line coming through here, coming from these insane resistance points at these lower highs from before. Lower highs from before. God, I get tired now. Lower highs from before here, guys. So if we are going to come up and test that, we are going to potentially see a level of resistance there to think about. And as you can see, we have seen that here, we have seen that here, and we have seen that here as well. Pretty strong the last time, right? Pretty strong the last time we came up. So if we are looking at finding that resistance there, we are looking at potential dump down from there in terms of a trend reversal. If we are looking at challenging and taking out and invalidating this lower high that we've got going on here. Target wise, it would be nice to get over this this downward sloping resistance line and find a nice level of support on it. But then we do have the 21 moving average coming down on the hourly as well. Definitely a few things to think about. In terms of the short term target right now, it would be to come up and find the support that we have. Find the support that we had on this 36,575 and not find that resistance, which we actually have just done in this candle which we're going through at this point in time. Worst case scenario for Bitcoin on the short term right now, we come down and we have a little skr around this 35,200 zone there. Potentially, if we hold that would be very nice indeed. But if we don't, then we are looking to come down further than that, potentially around this point here. My next target for the short term for Bitcoin would be around here, right? Would be around that 34,200 in terms of a consolidation bounce period, which is kind of what we're doing now before we see that continuation to the downside, right? In terms of what's happening on the RSI right now, we are pretty oversold in terms of the short term for Bitcoin right now. We're pretty oversold. So we are looking at that buying back power. We're looking at that buying back power, and that's why we're seeing that reversal in the price there. And as I said, ideally, we would like to see that moon. We would like to see that moon right now and claim all these levels of resistance which we need to get through. Pretty scary stuff, right? Pretty scary stuff for Bitcoin. And if we don't, likelihood is we come down, right? We come down and we bounce somewhere around that point, right? But obviously, taking into account about this RSI, if we are oversold, we are going to see that bounce back up pretty imminently. So if you are trading Bitcoin on the short term, I would be watching that with your eyes. Be watching that pretty cautiously, right? In terms of the channel, right? In terms of this giant channel that we've got going in, I should really have that on the midterm. I'm going to change that to the midterm for the next stream, I think. As you can see, this giant channel that we've got coming through here, we have actually just claimed it, right? We've just claimed this channel to the downside and broke through this major trend line that we've got to the top side of this channel, right? Which obviously this channel's coming through here, right? So worst case scenario for Bitcoin, we actually lose all these levels of support, which we're currently going to come down and test, and we actually come down and we set a lower low, right? We set a lower low in terms of the bottom side of this channel, right? That's like the worst case scenario I can think happening, but it's not going to be parabolic when that happens unless we have some insane sort of panic sell-off like we have seen in the past pretty recently, right? But I can see us basically probably doing something along the lines of this if this is going to happen. But obviously we are going to see some sort of bounce off this volume weighted ATR band as well, so it's definitely something to think about, and that is around 31,465. But honestly, do not rule out the possibility of us getting to $29,000 Bitcoin. I know it's pretty frowned upon me saying that, but it could happen, right? It could happen. The potential is there. The potential's there. The information is in front of us, right? Yeah, the midterm right now for Bitcoin, as I said, pretty much the same. We're testing these crucial points here, testing these crucial lower low support points. If we get past them, we're looking at a potential bounce on this volume weighted ATR band at 33k there. Definitely something to consider in terms of trading to the downside here. We do have a lovely level of support at 33k, pretty much dead on 33k, near enough 32 top side of that. But definitely a bounce point from there potentially if that lines up perfectly, if that correlates perfectly with this volume weighted ATR band in the future. I don't think it's going to happen straight away, right? I think we're going to fizzle down, and that's basically going to give time for the volume weighted ATR band to correlate perfectly with this level of support here at 33,000 there. We are going to potentially see a nice little bounce from there to the upside. Potentially something along the lines of this. Hopefully something along the lines of this. If we do, I will be getting it. If I can see it being nice and volatile to the upside in terms of an uptrend coming through off this volume weighted ATR band, I will be potentially getting in a long position, potentially up to this horizontal level of currently support, which later on it will be resistance, and that will be a nice little 5% trade to think about as well. Definitely something to consider when trading Bitcoin on the midterm. As you can see here, we do have this downward sloping resistance lines coming through on the RSI, right? Pretty I've been referencing that quite a bit in terms of Bitcoin on the midterm here, because obviously that I actually did get in a nice position from this falling wedge that we had coming through here, right? This falling wedge oh no, that's the wrong thing. This falling wedge that we had coming through here, I got in a nice position and actually tapped the bottom side of this downward sloping resistance line, and actually got in and got out and took my profit before we even hinted at testing this 55 moving average. And that was very good indeed, because we did see that swift rejection from there, right? We did see that swift rejection from there, and that is an indication that we are going to potentially find some sort of resistance from that if we are going to see some momentum towards the upside, right? And right now we are seeing that momentum towards the downside, but I hate to say it, we're not really that far away from being central, right? We're not far away from being central, even though we have had that colossal dump, right, in terms of sell-off. So that basically means we are having that buying power buying us back, basically sort of invalidating these lines, and basically it means that we could go a lot lower before we get to that oversold point, right? So it's definitely something to consider, because it is looking like perfectly that we are going to bounce either on this volume weighted ATR band or on the support line, or potentially on this point which we're currently at. But it's too close, right? It's too close in my opinion. If we're going to get there, we're probably going to level out around here, and that's not even oversold yet. So we do need to think about that when trading Bitcoin on the midterm, right? Oh, goodness me. Guys, if you're liking the stream, smash that thumbs up. Helps me out tremendously, right? I'm obviously a new guy on the block in terms of YouTube. And yeah, I think I'm going to get a new chair. Out of subject, but yeah, I think I'm going to get a new chair. I'm not really a fan of this white in the background, right? But yeah, guys, I'd just like to say thank you ever so much for being here. It does mean a lot. I'm seeing 29 viewers there. Absolutely crazy stuff. But yeah, guys, I do stream every single morning, Monday to Friday. So if you do want to be jumping on this with me every single day, I do short-term, mid-term, and long-term of Bitcoin, and then do some altcoin requests in the chat for you guys. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. You're never going to miss one of my streams or one of my uploads. I do altcoin videos. I do cryptocurrency updates in terms of price action, potential long and short positions for you guys to do your own research on as well. Not trade signals at all. But yeah, yeah, I do. If you never want to miss my uploads, basically, just hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and you're going to see a lot more of me, right? Because I'm doing this every day, right? Every single day, even on the weekends. There'll be upload every single day. Not joking around, like every single day, right? On the long term for Bitcoin, just to summarize before I end the stream at that 3 hours and 10 minute, right? The long term for Bitcoin right now, we are challenging this volume weighted ATR band. Your brother sent me here. Yeah, Bitcoin Beach. Shout out to Bitcoin Beach out here. He's my bro. Yeah, we trade together quite a bit, right? But yeah, he's a good guy. Really enjoying. Oh, thanks, Dave. Means a lot, man. Yeah, nice to get a compliment now and then, rather than a hater, right? Chester, bro. Time of your streams every day. I do like to stream. I do aim for like half past 8 in the morning, Monday to Friday, but it's more likely 9 o'clock, depending what I'm doing in the morning, right? Because sometimes I do have to drive my partner to work, right? Because she's currently learning to drive. Well, she drives to work, and I have to sit there in the car, which is kind of long, and it does delay my stream. But once she's past driving, I will be doing my streams at around 8 o'clock every single morning, potentially before that, because I do actually get up at 5 a.m. right? But yeah, I noticed I do get better traction when I'm streaming a bit later in the morning to give everyone a bit of a chance to get up, right, in terms of English time. But yeah, so roughly, I will not be starting before. I won't be starting before 8 at this time, and it'd be 8 to 9, sort of that sort of era, right? But yeah, if you want to know, press that notification bell. Just one final question: which coin recover the last one hit the bottom? Do you think? Which coin recover the fast one? The fast once hit the bottom. I don't want to say Matic, but I do want to say Matic because we have seen insane recovery for Matic recently. And let me just bring up Matic quickly. Insane recovery for Matic recently. And there was another one that I saw. I think it was OGN Origin. Let me have a look at OGN. OGN have got some good stuff going in terms of blockchain technology as well. And as you can see, we did see insane surge of buying power. Obviously, we're seeing that correction now. But if we are seeing that bear market, right, it's going to be pretty hard to tell, right? Because obviously, if you look at the top 50 cryptocurrencies at this point in time, a lot of them are down, right? A lot of them are down. I can't remember which one that wasn't down. It was Theta. It was Theta that was actually doing really well. Theta was actually doing really well and actually recovering through what's going on, a nice red day. What about Zcash? Yeah, I'm pretty bullish on Zcash, and I have been for quite a while. But unfortunately, for me, Zcash does actually follow Bitcoin quite heavily, right? And you can see we're not seeing that insane surge of buying power to the upside here. In terms of recovery, it was lucky to see how high we got, right? To see how high we got, and as you can see, we were having those massive sell-offs continuously for ZEC itself, right? So for me, for the long term, I think ZEC is going to be there, right? ZEC is going to be there. It is one of the top ones up there, but I do think we are still a long way to go in terms of if we are going to go to a proper bear market here. ZEC is going to pretty much go pretty low, right? It's gonna follow the Bitcoin. It's gonna follow the Bitcoin. It's gonna follow Bitcoin, right? But yeah, where were we? We're doing. No, I need to end this. I'm tired. Yeah, so let me sum up on Bitcoin for the long term here. Yeah, main target right now for the long term, we need to get over this volume weighted ATR band, get a daily close. Sorry, no, that's a 12-hour. Get a daily close over this. Let's get a 12-hour close over the volume weighted ATR band then, because obviously it's different on different time frames, and that is in an hour's time. If we can get a nice hourly close above that 36,787 mark, around that point there, we would be looking at some potential progression to the upside. Probably not so big, probably big enough to maybe get us up to that 21 moving average coming through here. And potentially testing these high low points coming through here at around this zone, around 37,000, and potentially even coming up and getting over this crucial point here at that 36,500. I can't stress that enough. Very, very, very crucial indeed for Bitcoin on the long term, right? Worst case scenario, we absolutely dump off a cliff here, as we have been doing recently, right? We absolutely dump off a cliff here, and we see us come down, right? We see us come down, and as I said, on the short term, right? I should have this on the long term, this channel. We do have potential to see the bottom side of this channel. If that is the case, that is going to see like a $29,000 Bitcoin, which is just absolutely crazy for us to see right now, and that does in a sense correlate perfectly with this volume weighted ATR band. So if we are going to get to that level, I will be looking at a massive accumulation point for Bitcoin, and in terms of a long position, I will be getting in many long positions from there, right? Definitely indeed. Because if we bounce obviously on Bitcoin, a lot of the altcoins are going to bounce as well, and we know we can make those insane gains with those altcoins. But yeah, guys, that is going to be the stream today. Thank you ever so much for being here. Smash that like button if you've enjoyed yourself here, and it does help me out in terms of the YouTube algorithms. For Dama, quickly for the confirmation, which chart shall we look at? Look into 1 hour or 4 hour? What about like 30 minutes? For me, that's more scalping, 30 minutes to 15 minutes, that sort of area. I'm more of a swing trader myself, bro. I like to basically go on. I like to go to the daily first and see what's happening on the daily, but at this point in time, it's pretty much all the same on the daily. And then I usually go to the 4 hour, see if we've got any potential swing positions, see the basically congruency of the higher lows and lower highs, which are the next targets, right? And then look at the horizontal resistance points and the horizontal supports and resistance points to look at. And then from there, if I can't see anything good, in terms of a chart, in terms of a trade, right? And to be honest, I only really trade in terms of swing trading the top 50 cryptocurrencies out there, because I prefer trading them. And there's like 10,000 altcoins now, so a lot of them can be unreliable as well. I like to trade the top 50, so that gives me enough charts to basically sieve through continuously. And also, what I was saying just then, if I've done the 4 hour and I can't really see anything, I'll be jumping to the hourly chart. I'll have a look at the hourly chart, and if I see some sort of pattern on the hourly chart, I'll basically use that pattern as confirmation of some sort of movement on the 4 hourly, right? And I'll basically plan my swing from there. I'm not a fan of trading the 1 hour, although if there's no trades going through and the markets are sideways, I will drop down those time frames to basically increase the chance of a nice trade coming through. As you can see here, like, we do have that ascending triangle coming through. I would be using that on the shorter term time frame to basically initiate some sort of dump towards the downside, potentially coming down and testing this. So yeah, obviously it's not as obvious on the 1 hour time frame, on the 4 hour time frame here, but yeah, I would be dropping down to get some chart patterns like that. And that's kind of my strategy, bro. Happy man. Yes, I know that one as well, Wasim. Very nice indeed. But yeah, guys, I am rounding up the stream here. I will be doing another video today at some point. I just got to get some food. I've not eaten all morning. But yeah, thanks again, guys, for ever so much for being here. It means a lot to me. I'm seeing those 24 viewers. Absolutely amazing stuff there, guys. Really, really, really do appreciate all your support. And if you are liking the stream, smash that thumbs up. Helps me out tremendously. And I'm here every single day. I can't stress that enough. Every single day, Monday to Friday, I stream 1 to 2 hours every single morning. So smash that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and you're never going to miss one of my uploads or one of my streams. But yeah, this is basically me signing off. Thank you ever so much yet again, guys. I appreciate you guys a lot, right? Thanks again. Peace out. Bye.